Proudly
Be afraid to mix in a good segment.
Sports Marketing, and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And always online at lernerandrowe.com. Now time for Calling All Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
Guys are hot. Well, the Suns are back home to take on Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. Cardinals head to the Bay Area to battle Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers this Sunday. And as anything going on, DeMar Hamlin is now breathing on his own. Welcome into Roc and Manuch. Jimmy B out here at Wright Toyota, presented by Lerner and Rowe. I'm Manuch. He's Jax. Rock will be joining us here just a few short minutes. I got to tell you what, Jax, nice to be out here at Wright Toyota again. Folks, the 2023s are here. They got a couple of 2022s that are straggling a little bit in the back there. They'll get rid of those, but they're hopping out here at Wright Toyota. Nice certified pre-owned vehicles also going on here at Wright Toyota.
Should I trade my Tesla in for that Tesla?
I was about to say, that's pretty nice, Rock.
Right here. Same one I have.
Is the same one?
Yep. Mine is wrapped. Some of the friends here at Wright Toyota was able to use one of their great partners and wrap mine. So
by the way, Rock, we got
stealth gray.
Speaking of wraps, thank you so much for the lunch out here, and the folks here right for the wraps that you provided.
Arena Sports Grill,
and you got all those going out. So we got a little bit of it going on out here as we look. So just off to the left, we got the Waste Management Phoenix Open. The 16th hole is up and going.
Place you haven't been in 20 years.
No, that's probably been quite 20 years because we did a broadcast there one time. Remember?
So 18 years. We haven't been there in a long time.
16 years because I think we did it the second year. Jackson, it was awesome. We did a broadcast.
They allowed us to be actually on 16 on like one of the second levels. I think there's only 2 levels then. Now there's 3.
From behind the tee box, we're broadcasting. That was when we were going 2 to 4. And, we do was it a Tuesday? I think we did it.
We did a Wednesday.
Was it a Wednesday?
We did a Pro-Am.
It was a blast. Number one, getting it hooked up was, I think our boy is either or CJ or Gamer, one of the two, that got us hooked up in order to go ahead and put all that together. We have a lot of fun broadcasts. We go on remotes. That was one of the more fun. I would say the funnest, but one of the more fun.
Well, if funnest was a word, it would be.
Yeah, it was.
It's not a word.
They have all the individuals coming by, and that's when they didn't have quite the grandiose stands they have.
But I will tell you, we are retired from broadcasting there Monday through Friday. In the Expo tent. We don't do that anymore.
No, we don't.
We won't do it anymore.
No, we did that a few years ago outside at the 16th hole. That was a lot of fun.
But I won't do the Expo anymore. I can't handle the drunks at 4 o'clock saying, Rock! And then they come behind the table and the booth, and they want to come on the air, and they're just total idiots.
And it's nice to have Scottsdale's finest there to have somebody.
Oh yeah, Roger and the boys.
And the boys, just in case people come wandering through at 5:30. We're on the air till 6. And usually that Friday, that is the party day. I don't know, Wednesday, Friday, and when individuals come walking by, and as you mentioned, Rock, they holler at you or they do things. You just kind of go, "Wow, did they just do that to us?" And that's pretty much the way it's been there at the Expo tent. So I miss it a little bit.
I miss it a lot. However, I think you get to the point when you're at a certain age. There's a lot of people who don't want to see that you saw when you were a bartender about 20-something plus years ago at Old Town. That you still see the same people afterwards. They've been at 16 all afternoon. Unlimited alcohol, and then they want to say hi. They want to be on the radio.
Sure they do. And they haunt you. And the other thing, too, is to that point, Rock, is if you don't see anybody all year long, you'll probably most likely see them at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, somewhere around, or people you haven't seen like the last 10 years or 20 years. And to your point, they'll come by and they want to talk while you're on the airwaves.
Exactly. And I will say this, too. I mean, for those of you that may have seen me, I have a twin. So, I mean, he's Jonathan, he's out there all the time. And Jonathan, everybody thinks it's me, and it's not me. It's my twin. A lot of people don't realize I have a twin brother.
It's funny how that happens every Friday when the Waste Management Open is there, that they spot your twin out there all the time.
Jack's is wondering. He's like, Rock, do you really have a twin brother?
I was stumped. I was like, oh my God. I didn't know you had a twin.
I know, but I do clone myself on the Friday of the Open. This year will be a little different because Super Bowl. it's a treat for us to be able to broadcast from Media Row and take in all that. It's a definite treat. So we'll look forward to that. What we got on tap for today is coming up here in just a little bit. We will catch up with Sean Salisbury. He is scheduled to join us at 1:30. And we haven't talked to him in a while, so we'll catch up with him in the new year and find out what's on his radar. A lot of sports stories, get his take on the latest on Hamlin, so we'll get into that. Hour number 2, right out of the gate, Jim Donnan, the former Georgia coach, get a little preview of Monday in the national championship. We'll be broadcasting from the CAZ Sports Bar on Monday from 1 to 4, getting ready for that big game. We also have Scott Spreitzer doing his weekly picks. He's off. He was off last week. Didn't want to go on with the kids, so he boycotted last week. So he's going to come.
No, he did make the kids last week. He did make. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he didn't.
No, he made him
before. I remember.
It was because we were off that Friday.
That's what it was.
We couldn't get him on a Thursday. And then last but not least, Rock, we got Kevin Rowe for his over/under picks, where you have a chance to win $50 from the counselor, and then we'll go to the Bay Area, who's just getting absolute deluged with rain right now. Greg Papa, the voice of the San Francisco 49ers, to talk
formerly the Raiders.
The Raiders.
Good guy.
Really good guy.
Yeah, he's it's good. We get to talk to get a San Francisco perspective as of right now, they're still playing for that number 1 seed.
Yeah, they are. And I think with that number 1 seed, that's why all hands on deck. They'll play hard. And if this thing gets out of hand early on, if it's 35-7, he'll probably make wholesale changes there at the end of the game. But he wants to, that being Kyle Shanahan, he wants to go out with the intensity and the aggressiveness and run this as if they are fighting, which they are for that number 1 seed. But the issue is it'll probably be difficult to get that since your Philadelphia Eagles are taking on the New York Giants, and the Giants might play their JV team and that just to rest their guys, which I disagree with. I think that David Jones.
Disagree with it. If you were on that team,
yeah,
hear me out.
Giants.
If you were on that team,
yeah,
and you are a backup quarterback, which you were,
sure,
you would love the opportunity to play.
Absolutely.
So don't give me that.
I would.
They should do it.
But as the coach may not want me to play, he may want Daniel Jones and those starters to play at least a good half to keep them sharp going into the playoff game next week. And a lot of guys nowadays, when you want to keep that momentum, you want to keep that synergy. And for the New York Giants, it's all about their running game. Now, he may not play Saquon Barkley. He might play Daniel Jones for a half or whatever it is. And I understand what you're saying, Rock, but I think coaches are in a dilemma when it comes to if they got the bye week going into the playoffs, they may play their guys for a certain period of time and then have that 2 weeks to get ready. If you're hot and you're playing really good football, you want to go ahead and make sure you still continue to play very good football prior to going into that playoff. You don't want to just shut everybody down, because all of a sudden you come back the next week, you might be a little lethargic, and it might take you a quarter or two to get back to where you were. So I'll be curious to see what Coach Rayball has to do with what he does with his starters with that Giants and Philadelphia Eagles game.
All right, let's get into some of these top stories. We just got a couple minutes before we got to go to break, but let's squeeze in a few of the top stories. Of course, the one that has to do with Damar Hamlin is the breathing tube removed overnight, as the Bills have mentioned that breathing tube was removed. And the physicians have said that he has continued to progress remarkably in his recovery. Of course, he suffered the cardiac arrest after making a routine tackle during the first quarter last week. We all know the story. But his functions are coming back. He's talking. He's speaking with family. He's speaking with the care team. He even addressed his teammates this morning on FaceTime. So great story. And I'm sure that's going to play in well for this weekend for the Buffalo Bills as they get playing on Sunday.
What a great relief to not only his family, but to the Buffalo Bills team, the community of Buffalo, New York. And I think, quite frankly, NFL, I saw that this morning, that he had the breathing tube pulled out and then had all that oxygen removed. You go, and you read that story as you put it, Rock. Okay, now the healing begins with him, and hopefully he can walk out of there within the next week or two just to make sure that he's all of his functions and his breathing and his lungs are all good to go. So that's great news. And the Bills, when they didn't realize they were going to FaceTime with him, and Coach McDermott said, hey, we got a special surprise. And they flipped that big screen on, and there he was. And the guys just went absolutely off. And he spoke to them and said, guys, I love you. And let's carry on. Let's move on and let's go beat this New England Patriots team. And with that said, Phoenix Suns, they're back home against Jimmy B tonight as they take on the Heat. Jimmy Butler, that being the original. Well, let me back
You
up.
can't say Jimmy B.
Our
There's
Jimmy
only
B's the
one Jimmy
original.
B,
That's
yeah.
right. I'll go Jimmy Butler. For the Heat, they come in here, and the Suns basically coming off the 1-5 road trip. And you look at this Suns team, they've lost 13 of the last 18 and 7 out of the last 8. Could we just see the kind of defense and rebounding on the defensive end we saw with the Cleveland Cavaliers? And then you got to come out, smoking, hitting your shots in that first quarter, specifically first half and first quarter. I think that's one of the things if you're going to beat, this Miami Heat team. So I think first and foremost, we saw some glimpses with DA with the 15 rebounds. Got to get them more shots. But more importantly, guys, I think the defense is the key to get them back on track. And once they're back on track with that, I think they got a chance. But they got to fix a few things. They got a few issues. They're home for a few games. Especially this Miami team is going to basically make it happen for them.
People are a little upset about it. I mean, they really are. There's people they're concerned about the Suns team that they're kind of spiraling right down that.
Well, and if Monty, the corrections that are going to be made are a lot of them going to be made until you get D Book back, until you get Cam Johnson back, and we're looking at another month, guys. Maybe it's mid-February before both of them are back.
You can lose. I don't know how many games there are, 10, 12, 13 games.
I guess there's 12-ish, 12 to 15 games. You don't want to go 500. You want to be way out in front of the curve. So I think for this Suns team to get back home and pretty much get some of the home cooking, and then just come out and stay focused. And this is where we're going to see what kind of a coach Monty Williams really is when he's got basically 2 or 3 guys down. And fortunately, CP3 is not down. Hope to see a little bit more out of him, but I think Monty Williams has really got to step up his coaching, use that bench a little bit more prolifically than he has, and get the guys to make shots. So rebounding, defense, and shots got to make them live by the sword, die by the sword.
Real quick with the Yotes, they lost to Philly last night, 6-2. 5 of those goals came in the second period. They've now lost 11 straight on the road. They got Chicago tonight in Chicago. That'll wrap up the 4-game deal. Clayton Keller, if you haven't heard, was named the All-Star for the 3rd time
in his
career. So it's good to see that. Charles Barkley had Shaq and the TNT crew in tears after he cursed by accident, or cussed, as they say in Arizona, on TV. That made today's top play of the night. We'll have that next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Wright Toyota on Fox Sports 910. We're out here, Right Toyota. We won't go wrong. RightToyota.com. As just got word, as Right Toyota, one of the big partners in the Kwame Lassiter golf tournament that's going on right now for the Kwame Lassiter Foundation over at Talking Stick. It's in, I don't know, it's towards half the tournament's probably almost done, but kind of upset that we get to play in it.
Yeah, why we you basically got Kwame in the radio business there, Rock. You got him going with the show. I did quite a few shows with him as well too.
Yeah, we didn't make the cut for the Right Toyota's a big partner, and we didn't get the cut.
Marketing director's giving us all the swag. Yeah, we like that. We didn't get a chance to play. Otherwise,
we thought you got engaged, but we were wrong on that one.
Did not get engaged over the Christmas holiday. It seems to be the popular time of the year, Rock, for people to get engaged.
Top player of the night is brought to you by the Valley Chevy Dealers. Your Valley Chevy dealer serving the Valley for over 80 years. Find new roads at your Valley Chevy dealer. Head to valleychevy.com. Yesterday, Jimmy G was trying to make a case. Jimmy B was trying to make a case for this guy. So the Suns should make a trade for this particular player. And we were kind of beating up Jimmy a little bit, saying, "There's no way Utah is going to trade this guy." And because this is how this guy is playing as of late, as he scored 49 points last night. Here was that 49th point.
Hot hand. Why not? Straight away. Wow. Marketing backpedals. This bench explodes. 49.
Wait, did you say the All-Star game was coming up soon?
Laurie. Man, he is
having
a great year, former Wildcat, and did just unbelievable. I mean,
talk about a guy that's feeling right now in the zone, and to watch him progress the last couple of years. Jimmy B was talking about maybe Danny Ainge, who's the general manager of Utah, would like to make a trade, and maybe we swap out one DeAndre Ayton for Mikal Bridges. Going, nah, you're not going to take a centerpiece or a foundational piece of your organization when you're finally starting to gather some momentum. He's the key piece you'll probably look to build around, and don't think that he'll be traded anytime soon.
So last night on one of the more highly entertaining shows on television, NBA on TNT, of course, Shaq and Barkley, Ernie Johnson, and
Smitty
and Smith, and for the first time in a long time, Charles Barkley uttered a curse word on air, and basically said it was his only one he's ever done. But here's how the exchange went, because it was pretty funny, and we had to beep it out a little bit, but it was pretty good.
I'm being honest, right? I don't want to be one of these assholes on television. Hey. Oh, I mean jackasses. I meant. I'm sorry. I apologize.
What the heck is going on?
I meant jackasses. I apologize. These guys act like they know everything. Ernie, I got
the first, Shaq.
That's the first time I've ever cursed. I apologize. Yeah. It is. I apologize.
Chuck, I'll tell you what, I will pay your fine to the FCC.
I do. I apologize.
I will tell you, there's no way that is the first time that Charles Barkley has cursed or cussed on live television.
No, there's no way. I think they've bleeped him a few times. I think early on in his career, he's had to catch himself periodically with live TV. Charles, I get to, when you talk to Charles and you're with him away from the TV or whatever, he's not a potty mouth for sure by that, but he will let you know certain people and what he thinks about this guy or that guy. But yeah, it slips out. He felt that strongly about that individual, and sometimes that just happens.
I think it's great. I mean, is there a better panel of analysts in any sport than TNT?
I would say
I don't think there is. College Game Day probably would be second for when you look at TV shows with the great panel.
That's a good argument.
I think inside the NBA has got to be one, which is the personalities.
It's the most entertaining. I will say that is the most entertaining that I think in all of sports. With you get a chance to see these guys' personalities. I think on Fox, Terry Bradshaw and Howie and those guys, I think you get a good chance to see their personality, especially Terry. He's kind of the caricature of that group.
I think it's gotten a little
Yeah.
Stale.
A little too stoic these days. Seems like they've tempered him a little bit.
I would, if I had to bet, if we did a poll question, I would say that I would put College Game Day #1 now because of Pat McAfee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, McAfee's pretty good.
He has taken that show to another level. His show in general, if you watch his television show, his podcast, and he's very similar to Dan Patrick, very similar to us. He owns the show. He owns every part of that show. And it's not like he works for a network. And if you look at the shows that don't work for the networks, they're the ones that are the leaders. Dan Patrick's show. Sure, they don't work for the network.
Yeah. He
owns the Dan Patrick property. And then he buys the time and resells it and things of that sort. Pat McAfee, same thing. It's his. He's the business.
And it's crazy too because Pat McAfee used to be on the show. I think it was 2 years ago. He'd fill in every so often for College Game Day. ESPN wasn't a real fan of him. He leaves. ESPN gets a lot of backlash. Now he comes back, and now for the national championship, him and his show are going to have an alternate broadcast that people are going to watch too.
Yeah, and he's pretty excited about that. And he was kind of talking about that the other day on how that all went down, and he's the one that needs to make the phone calls on getting credentials and things like that. It's not like he's got a team because he doesn't work for a network. And that's a lot of work to do that stuff.
I think it was with sports talk radio or sports in general. You can see people's, you can see their personalities. It's not so stoic. It's not so much X's and O's. And when you look at some of those shows, you hear those personalities. You see the sports team that we moniker as far as put it out there.
The biggest difference on what he can do is he can say what he wants. He can curse. He can cuss. He can do anything he wants to do. Right. And I think that makes it a little bit different. I mean, when you're telling a story, and many of you may not agree with this, but if you can enhance the storytelling with an F-bomb. You can enhance it with an F-bomb.
Sorry, Mo Fry.
Right? I mean, it's true.
I can hear that.
You're telling a story with a bunch of adjectives.
Emphasis.
It emphasizes the story. And the story kind of gets blown up, and you're laughing. And at the same time, you're actually watching it on your computer or your television, and you're seeing him say the words that he's saying. You're like, wow. And for us, that we have a 7-second delay, and we occasionally there's a slip when you get excited. You may say a word that you shouldn't say, but you get fired if you say it too much.
And in that platform, watching Aaron Rodgers speak his piece or his mind, or see some of these celebrities be able to say what they really want to say in that format, in that genre, is like, wow, I didn't know he thought that way, or he felt this way, or she felt this way, or felt this, or she has to deal with that every time she goes out on the tour. Those kind of things that I think that he brings out, that they can openly talk about it and not be guarded. Well, as opposed to if they come on our show.
We lost Barbara Walters, remember?
Yes.
Just a week ago. And she was the best at being able to get something out of someone.
Yeah.
I mean, she truly had the interview skills to get somebody comfortable and then go down a road where they open up. I mean, she was the pro.
That was art.
That's why she was the best.
There was art there.
And like her or not, maybe you didn't like her on The View or whatever, but she was a tremendous, tremendous broadcaster who we sorely missed and still looked amazing up until her last days.
Was she 93 years old before she passed? I think that I remember when she was on 2020.
2020 was how could you not watch
with Hugh Downs? That was must watch.
Yep.
And then when she did her hour-long interviews, that was must watch. I remember one of those with Patrick Swayze.
2 minutes.
Came off that interview. You're like, wow, I didn't realize it, because he really opened up.
You love those type of interviews when you can sit down. It's like our next guest, Sean Salisbury. He's been coming on with us for over 10 years, and Sean's the kind of guy where we could talk about a movie for the next 15 minutes.
Sure.
And that's more entertaining on who he thinks is going to win in the national championship.
More of a conversation than an interview.
And I think because anybody can do the X's and O's. I'm not an X and O guy. Manuch, you are. You like the X's and O's because you played the game. I could care less about the X's and O's.
I tell you, the other interview that really shocked us as we're watching, when you went, oh my God, was when she interviewed Robin Williams and Mike Tyson, Robin Givens and Mike Tyson together.
Robin Williams.
And Robin, she did interview Robin Williams.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I remember that.
That was a phenomenal interview. But anyway, she basically asked him, is it a very, not an abusive, very rough sometimes to deal with Mike? And she said, yeah, he gets very angry and he'll swing at me once in a while. Right there on national TV. And here's Mike Tyson. when you go back and look at the interview, he's looking at her like, I am just going to like strangle you when we get off this camera. I mean, his eyes were piercing her with gamma rays as to she opening up about their marriage, about the abuse, physical and or verbal abuse. And it wasn't but 2 weeks later he filed for divorce. So talk about real time watching stuff unravel on national TV.
Hey, the AFC Championship game to decide who goes to the Super Bowl could be held at a neutral site. That's according to a resolution approved by the NFL teams after the game between the Bills and the Bengals was ruled a no contest due to, of course, the collapse of Bill safety Damar Hamlin. So it will be a neutral site, and if needed, and Roger Goodell is still deciding on where that game would be played. Who knows? I mean, I would hope that they would be someplace that both teams can get to, their fan bases can get to, and they can open up tickets because, if you are Kansas City or whomever and you thought you had the number one seed and your fans are want to be at that game, because I think a lot of us could make a case that the AFC, NFC Championship games are better than the Super Bowl. They tend to be a better game, with a lot more excitement. You can afford to go.
Sure.
You can't afford to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, it's getting to the point where I know we love having Super Bowl in our backyard, but there's a lot of people that, like for me, we don't need it. We don't need it. If it was Super Bowl was in the middle of summer, okay, it'd be great. But why do we need a Super Bowl here? We don't. None of us can go to it. Okay, I mean, we just can't. When the week is already crazy with Barrett Jackson going into Waste Management Phoenix Open, Super Bowl does nothing to us. I know economical impact. We are already getting it. The problem is right now, everybody is charging more than they normally would for that. I know people that are renting their houses out for $3,000 a night, or you can't get a rental car, or you can't get
a hotel room.
You can't get a hotel room. You can't get transportation. Uber is going to spike the whole time. Instead of $3 an hour, it's going to be $30 an hour, or whatever. I mean, it's going to be so out of hand, more than it's ever been, because we've been all wrapped up because of COVID, and this year is going to be just total blowout.
Yeah, it's going to be
no restrictions across the board, and it's going to be a what show. And I know people
bring your money in, folks. But
it's like
I love the money coming in.
But where do you benefit from that?
Well,
where do I benefit from it? If I don't benefit, if I have car issues and I need to rent a car because my car broke down that week, I have to pay what everybody else is paying.
Yeah,
there's no benefit to me and you. Where do you see where are the roads better because the Super Bowl's here? Where do we see the money that's been used for it?
They could be more transparent as to where that money goes.
Not.
Roads, infrastructure, whatever.
Sean Salisbury will join us next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B at Wright Toyota.
Manuch, now on Fox Sports.
Guys are
10.
Sean Salisbury joins us now. I think for the last day of the year, we can say Happy New Year, buddy. What's going on?
Happy New Year, Sean.
Yeah, how you guys doing, man? Good to talk to you. Happy New Year to you. I'm doing great, thank you.
So I'm hearing your buddy Mattress Mac is getting busy in the national championship on Monday. This guy loves betting, doesn't he, man? He's doing a great job.
Yeah, you guys can hear me okay, right?
Yeah, you good?
Clearly? Okay, yeah. He won $75 million on a World Series, so he might as well keep it up. He was in our studio yesterday, as a matter of fact, and we got to spend time with him. You know, he supports a lot of local Texas teams, and TCU is one of them. So if you buy a mattress and spend some money, you may get it for free plus a bonus. So yeah, Mac's the best for the business, and I think he got the frogs on himself at plus 400. So there you go, man. Yeah, he's picking TCU.
What kind of guy is he? I mean, is he a guy that you have a beer with, or is he a guy that wants you to sit around, smoke a cigar? And I mean, who is this guy?
Phenomenal human being. He is I'll tell you what, he's got more energy. I said, he doesn't like watching the games. He likes to turn his day. He likes to work. I said, are you going to be going to the games? Sometimes he'll fly in, like the Kentucky Derby. He said, no, I'll be working. I got a lot of mattresses to sell. He is probably, you think a guy with all that money and all that difference he makes, like, dude, just take some time for yourself. Sleep in one of those mattresses and those great beds you have and relax. But he's, takes care of his wife, who's had a little bit up and down, and his children, and he is a workaholic, and he's always looking to help somebody. And his store is, there's no more popular furniture store in the country. And he loves sports. He loves being around people. And honest to God, on Monday night while the game is on, he will be working. I've been in there. He will literally be at his store taking orders for people who walk up and tell him. It's not like he sits in his office and works. He literally is working like he's trying to move up the corporate ladder. That's how hard Matt works. He loves to laugh. He's a phenomenal human being, but he does not stop. He's everywhere. He's ubiquitous, man. He's all over the place. He's amazing.
So, speaking of TCU and the Sonny Dykes offense, we finally saw go 60 minutes wire to wire to upset Michigan. What is it about Sonny Dykes' air raid offense that you feel has a good chance of upsetting Georgia?
Well, first off, the Mike Leach tree has been pretty relevant with this. Garrett Riley, who's Lincoln Riley's brother, is calling the plays for Sonny. And Sonny, with the Texas Tech with, Mike gave him one of his first shots after his father, and Spike Dykes. And the tree runs deep as far as people Mike Leach has impacted. And I think a lot of times first off, they still play physical, Manuch. Know that a lot of the air raid offenses, they still want to run the football. That's what people don't understand is air raid. They think Mike Leach wanted to run it. You saw this year with a spread out. The Lane Kiffin's team was one of the best rushing teams in the country. They really do want to run it. And TCU is capable of running the football. And they're going to have to get some yards on first down running it. But another part of that is they have weapons. They have a high first-round pick receiver. They keep their quarterback pretty clean, and he's tough as hell, as is Stetson Bennett, but Max Duggan's tough. It seems like every step along the way, there's another belief system that they buy into. But I'm going to say the thing I love. A lot of times when you're not familiar, this isn't familiar ground, like playing Michigan in the Final Four, and the team at the beginning of the year, Max Duggan was the backup quarterback, going through heart trouble and didn't win the job, and now is finished second in the Heisman Trophy and got his team on the brink of a national title. Is they don't back off. Sonny Dykes is not going to go in and pretend, we're in the air raid or we're not here and we're not supposed to be here. No, he thinks they're supposed to be here, but they're not going to play not to lose. They're going to play to win because everybody's telling them Georgia's going to beat their brains in just like Michigan, but they will not take their foot off the gas pedal. And I think there is a tendency, I think we all do, we're in this position, let's play it close to the vest so we keep it close with a chance to win. They're not going to have any problem dropping back and throwing it. They won't have any problem running a reverse pass. They won't have any problem taking shots down. And they're going to have to hit some. But the ironic thing is for a team that we consider finesse, they are mentally as tough as any team. They're just as mentally tough as Georgia is.
And
they believe they're going to win the game.
And as many holes as you saw in the Georgia defense with Ohio State did, I got to tell you what, Sean, watching Stetson Bennett in that fourth quarter, I mean, okay, he showed me more than I ever thought that this young man stepped up, delivered when he had to. So on the other side, I got to tell you what, folks need to give Stetson Bennett a little more credit with that comeback against Ohio State.
You know what it reminds me of, Manuch, and now that you brought it up, and I know that you obviously are close to this, is I learned more about Brock Purdy on Sunday than I have in a long time,
Sure.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Sunday?
Yes.
Brock Purdy against the Raiders.
Yep.
Was Saturday, whatever day it was. That Brock Purdy, I thought that was my favorite game. He stepped up late on a time when the defense was not doing what they always do. And he delivered a win, and he's tough, and he doesn't allow a mistake or getting behind bother him. Same thing with Stetson Bennett. You know, it's funny. We keep saying, yeah, but he's not, you know, C.J. Stroud. He's not Bryce Young. He's not all these guys. But yet he keeps beating all these guys. And with the game on the line, he made a couple tight window throws that I'm like, what?
Yep.
And you want to talk about, like I said, the guts. It's one thing to have it and make a completion to big windows, but to throw it into tight windows. And you watch that game, he had a horrible interception in the game.
Yep.
And it didn't bother him. Both of these quarterbacks in this game are similar, that they're just kind of grinders, and when they get the ball last, there's a chance. So I'll tell you this, if TCU wins or if Georgia wins, Duggan and Stetson Bennett will have had some moments where they were huge. And every time Bennett plays in a big game, he's like the MVP. If it wasn't for C.J. Stroud, he might have won the MVP because he's a gamer, man. I know that's an overused term, but I'll be damned if they don't keep making throws to places you're not supposed to, especially when you're his size and you were a walk-on and a JUCO, and now he's the king of the team. I know he's a little older, but guess what? There ain't no age limit on throwing touchdown passes, so good for him.
Got a couple more minutes with Sean Salisbury here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910. Sean, I got a little bit of bone to pick with you. I mean, I know you just got your master's. You're gonna be a doctor soon and all that stuff. And I'm assuming that because you have a master's, you're spending more money at USC, right? You're writing bigger checks because if not, you need to. Because I lost so much money on that USC Tulane game. I mean, that was an absolute joke. Where is the defense? Can you buy some defensive players for USC, please?
Stay tuned. We're just getting started with name, image, and likeness of the transfer portal. Second of all, just call me up before you bet so I can put more money in your pocket, please, so I can teach you the ins and outs.
That was a no-brainer. Come on.
Hey, in truth, Manuch, I got to come clean, man. As long as they continue to that, well, that's exactly the reason they're not playing in the Final Four, right?
Yes.
Hell, they'll score 50. They'll score 50, but they get the stop with the game on the line. They'll give up 52 now.
Yep.
I promise you. Can you imagine going in for like 500 and their quarterback playing at about 85% on stop line? You can't get a stop. Now, God bless Tulane. They're a really good program. Really, Fritz has got them playing great football, but inexcusable that they can't tackle or get off the field. And related to that is they're never winning a national title, no matter how good the quarterback is. If you can't get a stop, you can't average 45 a game and still win. And Manuch, don't feel bad. I mean,
Rock, yeah.
Why? Yeah, Rock, don't feel bad. I'm going to tell you why. Is because over the last 4 years of betting games, I hit a 17 parlay over the weekend.
What?
Not to rub it into you. But
What?
USC basketball. Over the last 4 years, USC football has cost me more money in a bet than any other team in football, basketball, baseball. So I quit betting on them. Because I kept giving away. So I would have told you, and I didn't bet them this weekend. If you would have called me, I'd have said, dude, follow my lead. Do not bet the Trojans. They don't cover spreads. It doesn't matter what it is. They could be 40-point favorites, 30-point dogs, 1-point favorites. Somehow, somebody's going to beat them by a half a point. That's how it happens with USC. So don't bet the Trojans. Otherwise than that, you'll make money. Great offense, can't get a stop. So I quit betting them, man, because my heart, my head gets in the way of each other. And I make money when I don't bet on USC. I promise you, last 4 years, 5 years, I've lost most of my bets have been on Trojan football on a Saturday. It sucks.
Did you say? Let me ask, Sean. Did you say 7 or 17 team parlay?
A 7-team parlay.
Okay.
I won NFL, college, and then I won two NBA games and a college basketball. 7-team parlay. My final win on the day was Ohio State. I had them covering, and so it was a 7-team parlay over the weekend. Yeah.
Wow. Well, good. I can get us a reservation of Astros when you're back here, so we're good. So I'll get the reservation.
Right. And then I'm going to have to buy, seeing the fact you gave all your steak money away to my alma mater.
Yeah, I'm eating Salisbury steak now. That's all I can afford.
Hey, by the way, thank you. You prevented me from having to write a check to Southern Cal this time around.
We love you, Sean. Have a great week.
Happy New Year, Sean.
Thank you.
Have you noticed I left out all the bets I missed, but I'll keep the 7-team win. Talk to you guys later.
Wow. A 7-team. That's awesome. That's Sean Salisbury joining us. 7-team parlay. That's pretty good. But I first thought he said 17.
I did too.
I'm like, dude,
that's like
7's hard. Imagine 17. Jeez. Well, hey, he's driven by All City Towing. All City Towing continues to hire. Go to allcitytowing.com. They got full-time positions available, incredible benefits, 401k, generous company match. Best way to apply is online. Go to allcitytowing.com. We'll continue. We're out here at Wright Toyota. It's Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B. Fox Sports 910.
Talk whenever you're ready.
Trinity, you get 3 as a magic number. The past and the present and the future, faith and hope and charity, the heart and the brain and the body give you 3 as a magic number. It takes 3 legs to make a tripod or to make a table stand. It takes 3 wheels to make a vehicle called a tricycle. Every Triangle has three corners, every triangle has three sides, no more, no less. You don't have to guess. When it's three, you can see it's a magic number.
50 years ago today,
Man and a woman.
1973. Many of you remember that song if you are in the demographic the majority of you are that are listening. Schoolhouse Rock premiered on ABC. The first song there was Three is a Magic Number.
I haven't heard that since
Brings back some memories.
way back here in that. Good song.
For Ben, for Jax, you've never heard that.
Oh yeah, I've heard it before.
You have?
Yeah. We used to listen and watch Schoolhouse Rock all the time in elementary school.
Yeah, I've heard it too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good. The reruns came back.
Finally,
The replay.
I hear something positive about our youth.
I mean, so Ben, you actually
Did you guys
relate to?
Did you guys have Sesame Street and
Yeah.
and Electric Company? And
Oh yeah.
We're 24. We're not 10.
I'm 20. I'm 23. I'm 23.
I think Captain Kangaroo was off the air by the time.
yeah,
it
it
came
was.
around. Yeah, but Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers'
What was the
Neighborhood.
banana? What was
The banana splits.
banana split?
Oh yeah.
50 years ago today, as we do our On This Day, brought to you by 72 Sold. Ted Turner bought the Atlanta Braves for, this is amazing, bought the Atlanta Braves on this day in 1975 for $11 million.
They're worth what, $3 billion, $4 billion now,
Or maybe 5.
That's
Who knows?
amazing.
That's pretty amazing, yeah. Also on this day, first episode of Wheel of Fortune aired. It's hard to believe that show has been around 48 years.
Yeah,
Band is still going strong since 75.
and that was one of my must-watch for my mom. That was I can never forget coming home. Wheel of Fortune. Used to come on at night.
Chuck Woolery.
Yeah, Chuck Woolery.
He was the host until 81.
Yep. Daytime, then they moved it to nighttime. It became so popular. So there was a little
That
combination.
and Jeopardy, right?
Oh yeah,
Back
yeah.
and forth,
Especially
right?
that's right, going back and forth.
1999, an agreement was reached by the NBA and the Players Union to end the 204-day lockout, which shortened the season by 50 games. That was 99. 10 years ago, same kind of thing happened, but in the NHL, they reached a deal. They ended their 113-day lockout, which meant most of us could go back to not caring about hockey. I had to put that
And didn't the Yotes lose the All-Star game?
Yes,
that year?
they did.
That was it.
Supposedly, I would think with the new arena coming, if it does come, which I think it will, I think Bettman will say, all right, you guys are due. Let's get you that All-Star
Hallelujah!
game."
Finally, you would think.
See, that's the kind of stuff that I like in our own market. You know, an All-Star game, we can all probably get tickets to something like that. Granted,
Sure.
it's only
Yeah.
18,000, 16,000, whatever it is. But a Super Bowl, you can't get tickets. You can't get anything. And then that's the thing that makes it so difficult is you want to go to these events, but you can't. 2018, John Gruden returned to the NFL as the Oakland Raiders head coach after nearly a decade broadcasting ESPN Monday Night Football. He did that for a while. Today is also National Take Down the Christmas Tree. Yeah, take down the
Is
Christmas
yours
tree.
down yet, Ron?
I never put one up.
Are you putting up this year?
I didn't put
Not at all.
I didn't do anything.
Nothing. Nada.
Not even a wreath.
Got the wreath at the front door.
Nope.
Welcome mat, like the
Nope.
Christmas welcome mat at the front
Nothing.
door.
Nothing.
Wow.
All I did do was not bath towels, but kitchen towels.
Kitchen towels
that
Okay,
were
good.
Christmassy because my mom had sent me some.
Yeah, red, green.
Yeah, they had
The
Christmas
colors,
trees on them.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, so.
Yeah, my wife's slowly taking down all of our
You know,
stuff.
when you live by yourself,
Sure.
you know, you really don't need to do all the Christmas stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
My dog doesn't care, so you know. and
Have you
I'm
asked
not
him?
home? I'm not home very often.
Have you asked Guinness? Does he like you like a tree or no tree? I mean,
yeah. Hey, on a sad note, on this day, 4 years ago, we lost a friend, Kwame Lassiter. Today is the third anniversary, or fourth. It's 4-year anniversary, but today's the third annual Memorial Golf Tournament that's going on right now. A lot of celebrities are in town. Jake Plummer and Donovan McNabb, of course, Frank Sanders. A bunch of guys are out there playing right now. But we wanted to make a note and say, hey, we miss you, Kwame, a guy that was an undrafted free agent in the National Football League, had a hell of a career, came from Kansas and made the best of it. His son
played at KU.
Played at KU, right? And, you know, he was a Pro Bowler and then got into some radio and television, did some stuff with us and had his own show with us on another station we were on. And then he did some Voice of America internet radio, and just a great guy, really great guy.
And didn't he have, was it the 4 interceptions, Rock, and it was at the San Diego game in 1998 where they ended up got the Cardinals to the playoffs. 4 interceptions, and then Jake with that final drive, and then was it Jackie kicked the game-winning field goal, the first time in many years that the Cardinals made the playoffs, went against Minnesota.
And his son got an opportunity with the Bengals when Jamar Chase went down in November. Lassiter was elevated from the practice squad, so he's now on the current roster of the Cincinnati Bengals, I believe. I don't know if that's still accurate, but that was at least a few weeks ago.
He was an
undrafted rookie, undrafted kid too. I mean, how great is that? I mean,
as talented as he was out there most of the summer with us too, with Brock and the Tyler.
Played at Hamilton, right?
Played at Hamilton, yeah. I know, yeah, Hamilton High School. So just have those guys out there and see them have their success. We'll talk about Brock here a little bit, but I mean, see Junior out there making it. What an outstanding young man he is, and glad to see him active now with the Cincinnati Bengals team.
Hey, if your New Year's resolution is to buy a new home, you're growing, the family's getting bigger, it's now a time to look at buying a new home. So just shopping for a mortgage, the big banks can be a big hassle. Call GC Global Capital. They're a licensed and bonded mortgage broker here in the state of Arizona. You can work with a team of mortgage experts for lower rates, lower fees, more options, faster closings. You can do it much faster than going to a regular bank. You let the broker do all the work. Rates are in the mid 5% right now. It's a buyer's market. So buy now before the frenzy starts all over. You know it will. It's going to be a hot market once again. So call the pros at GC Global Capital. Their phone number is 480-397-9300. Values have come down over 10% on these homes. You know it if you own one, but it's a great time to buy. It's a buyer's market. So find out how much you can buy, how much you are approved for, and you can find out in 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, by picking up the phone and calling Global Capital right now at 480-397-9300. Your local mortgage professionals, GC Global Capital, 480-397-9300. 3,900. Coming up in hour number 2, right out of the gate, we are going to talk some college football with Jim Donnan, one of our favorite guests, as he was head coach at Georgia for a long time, not to mention Marshall and a coordinator all over the place, including Manuch's coordinator at Kansas State. So he will join us, and I know he's really excited to be with us because I'm here.
That's right.
And I guarantee he'll say something to the fact that I'm here, even though I've been here 8 of the 10 times he's been on this year.
Close. I think
7.
Five. More like 5 of the 10 times. You've been in the ballpark 50%. He loves you, Rock. He uses colloquialisms he gets from North Carolina.
We're out here at Wright Toyota, where you won't go wrong. WrightToyota.com. It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B. Fox Sports 910.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
Sun Devil men's basketball is better in person. Grab your friends, family, and neighbors and get to Desert Financial Arena to catch Frankie Collins, Warren Washington, and the Cambridge brothers for all the action. The Sun Devils start the new year when they face Washington State on January 5th and Washington on January 8th. Purchase your tickets today by calling 480-965-5812 or go online to sundeviltickets.com. Sun Devil men's basketball, onward to victory.
No one has the same taste as you.
You damn right.
From the music you love to the podcasts you can't live without, and only the iHeartRadio app has it all for free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
iHeartRadio.
It all comes down to the national championship game on Monday. Your go-to for betting is DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 910. Bet just $5 on college football and get $200 in free bets instantly. That's code 910 only at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and over, Arizona only. Gambling problem, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Bonus issued as free bets. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms.
Updated COVID vaccines have arrived just in time for the season that brings us all together. Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I never write reviews, but Navage is so amazing, I had to leave one. Nothing's ever cleared out my sinuses as well. I'm blown away by how Navage works. That's a review from Carrie, and it's one of over 100,000 online testimonials praising Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I've talked about flushing out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs. How Navage's powered suction can help you breathe better, and how your nose is the body's air filter, and Navage will clean it out. But don't take my word for it. What do people like Chad say, who wrote, Navage has helped clear out my nasal passages every single night. My wife says my snoring has gone way down. Snorefest be gone, unquote. Navage is the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million customers to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Broadcasting from the Superbook.com studio. Superbook Sports, now live. This is KGME Phoenix, KESC HD2 Phoenix, an iHeart radio station. Available everywhere on our free iHeart radio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Here's what's trending on Fox Sports 910.
While many are wondering if Sunday will be Cliff Kingsbury's final game as Cardinals head coach, among others who may be heading out the door on their own, heading to possible retirement, wideout A.J. Green.
I don't know yet. It's a decision I'm going to have to make with my family, but whatever the decision is, I'm at peace with it. I feel like I've been true to this game my whole career. I did everything the right way.
The Cardinals finish up visiting the Niners. The Suns are back home to try and rid themselves of a 4-game losing streak against the Heat, and the Coyotes are in Chicago for the Blackhawks. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
Now's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Pay. That's pay. Enter it now at foxsports910.com.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
For your Friday, look for mostly sunny skies. Temperatures right around 64 degrees. For tonight, those temperatures dipping down into those low 40s with mostly clear skies. And the weekend looking fantastic.
20 seconds.
For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Ty Brennan.
This report is sponsored by New Vision Auto Glass.
Looking through a windshield with a crack or chip in it? Call New Vision Auto Glass now. Qualifying customers can get up to $250 cash back with a free dinner at Rodizio Grill. Call 480-210-9090, 480-210-9090, or newvisionautoglass.com.
Calling all sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Proudly sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900 and always online at lernerandrowe.com. Now time for Calling All Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
You guys are hot.
Fox Sports 910.
Let's dive right to it. College football Hall of Fame coach, formerly at Georgia, Marshall, and Manuch's coordinator at Kansas State, the Wildcats. Jim Donnan joins us now on the Right Zone guest on here on Fox Sports 910. Coach Roc and Manuch, what's going on, my friend?
Happy New Year, Coach.
Hey, glad to be with you. I heard everything with the stock report. I've been on for 2 days and 14 nights getting ready to wait for you guys. Y'all call me plenty of time here. I'm ready to rock here.
Well, you called it last time we had you on that Georgia was going to take care of business last week, and they did, but we came down to the wire.
Very quickly. It was down to the wire. Excuse me for interrupting, but, you know, we didn't play as good as we needed to, and unfortunately, Ohio State had one of those games that you really dream about. A quarterback, Stroud, did a great job, and you know, we've been exposed the last 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
I've told you all year, starting the season, that we had some issues with our pass defense, and fortunately, we've been able to get pretty good rush against most teams. But now they're going to 7-man protections and just trying to get 1-2 man routes, and they're getting after us. But our offense came through and got a big one here Monday night, that's for sure.
Coach, we'll get to that defense in a second, but I got to tell you what, Stetson Bennett, that young man showed me a lot in that fourth quarter, Coach. I know he's pretty good. He manipulates real well, but he zinged a couple in there. I went, damn, I came off the couch and said, Stetson Bennett, look at you for crying out loud.
that's the thing, misnomer there about his arm strength. He's got a really good arm, and he's got good technique and uses his body and follows through. But certainly that one guy was so wide open. I mean, wasn't anybody between him and Phoenix when you had to hit him, And, it was good. It was really good. And Stetson has really had a tremendous career. I mean, got a chance to win back-to-back national championships, which hadn't been done very often. But, we're going against a really stout team in TCU, really playing a lot of confidence and won a lot of close games. So they certainly got Georgia's attention, and I think had a good week of preparation. And right now they're on the way. They're probably over Phoenix right now. They're supposed to land in Cali in about 3 Pacific.
So, Coach, if the kick was good, what would the narrative have been there in Georgia?
Oh, everybody been lower than whale manure. I mean, playing at your home place, basically at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And, you always, and all of us have seen it in sports, you say the what if.
Yep.
Because, a lot of times the best team doesn't win. I mean, we had that happen to us at Oklahoma a couple times where we were, felt like we could win a national championship, but usually speaking, you make mistakes that really are critical, and we made too many, and Ohio State capitalized on them. But as I mentioned at the get-go, they deserved to win. They played extremely well. Took some chances on defense that worked for them, but also took some that really hurt them in the fourth quarter.
Coach, talk about the exposure that Ohio State shown upon Georgia. You talked about the max protect and 2 and 3 man routes going out there, but was it more than that, or is there just something that you think Sonny Dykes will pick up on in watching that game?
Well, I think both games, the fact that, LSU threw for 500 yards, but most of those were in the second half when the game was out of reach. But we've given up 871 yards and 870-some yards and 71 points in the last 2 games, and you just can't count on scoring that many points on offense. We scored 50 against LSU and 42 against Ohio State. But, I think Sonny Dykes is a great coach. He's got a good system, but we've got a lot of guys that have been to the dance. We got guys that have played in these big games, and hopefully we'll be able to take care of it. First thing we got to do is cover punts. Hope we don't have to punt much, but they got a guy back there who's a human rocket, and that Darius Davis, and we got to do a good job curtailing him. And if you just look at that Michigan game, they got some, 2 picks for touchdowns, and Michigan fumbled inside the 5 twice, and you just can't count on that. I mean, hopefully we won't do that and give them the points that they did and give away the points. But I think we got a little bit better O-line than Michigan, even though they won the Joe Moore Award. I don't know how they did over us, but they did. We need to get Mark May on that board and let him pick out the guys. He can pick out who's got the best line.
Hey, Coach, and we were my senior year. We did a kind of. I thought it was great. You kind of incorporate kind of the early version of the air raid, and I wasn't in shotgun. We'd spread everybody. I was really the only guy in the backfield, so I loved it. I wish we would have did it 50 times a game. But I mean, when you watch the Sonny Dykes air raid versus some of the others, what is it about his development? Is his play calling? Is it the physicality of the run game? What is it in particular that makes them tick at TCU?
Yeah, I think the fact that they have just enough running game, kind of like what Leach had at Texas Tech and Washington State and some at Mississippi State. They got just enough run game to make you play the run, and then they hit these RPOs on you where your linebackers are playing the run. They throw the ball in behind. But the number one thing is just a deep ball at Quentin Johnson, number one. He's a pro receiver, can go deep, and they throw him a lot of deep shots, and he goes up and gets them. So I think it's a combination of, plus the quarterback's just rugged enough and can hurt you on quarterback runs. If you play man coverage, he can really bust you. So they got a good scheme, and we certainly going to have to pressure him some and cause some either tip passes or lost yardage plays, because we can't let him sit back there and comb his hair with the ball.
College Football Hall of Fame coach Jim Donnan joining us here on Fox Sports 910. Coach, I don't know if you know the roster that well up and down, but has there been a run of players that said, hey, I'm not going to play in the game on Monday? Are there any guys that may impact that are not playing and someone else is going to have to step up?
Not for us,
Okay.
just from a standpoint of opting out like you see in some places. But
Yeah.
we do have 3 injuries that are up in the air. Number 84 wide receiver McConkey, who played sparingly against Ohio State. Our starting right tackle McClendon didn't play at all, but the guy behind him is a good player, so that's not really that much difference. And then our number 1 tight end in what we call 12 personnel, Bowers is the guy, but the blocker and the guy that can really take care of the edge, Darnell Washington, who was actually from Las Vegas, hurt his foot and didn't play after the second quarter. So him being able to play would be big for us. And then Miller, their running back, who missed most of the game for them, would be big for TCU. I think Miller should probably sit out just to be fair to us. And then we won't play Washington but too much, but we'll play him.
Coach,
No, they'll play if they can play.
Coach, I think you had about 10 guys that got drafted in the 22 draft.
15.
Those 15. I'm sorry, 15. Yeah. So will that exceed in the 2023, or will it be less? Or where do you forecast?
We won't have as many first rounders, but we'll have 8 to 10. But when you take some of the freshmen and sophomores that are going to get drafted, then we got some pro ready guys. But so as I mentioned before, they got some guys too. I mean, they got the number 1 defensive back in the country as far as winning the Jim Thorpe Award, that Hodges Tomlinson guy, and certainly that Johnson is an excellent receiver. So they got talent, and you got to give them credit. I mean, you talk about transfers. They brought in 18 guys that didn't play there last year, which is a smart thing to do, and I think that's what gives a guy like the new coach at Arizona State or whoever you are, this portal transfer certainly gives you a chance to get quick, get well quick.
Coach, I can imagine a lot of the Scottsdale Sorrel SaberCats tuned in, thinking Keely Ringo and watching that young man. Top 10 pick coming out of the draft this year, you think?
Yeah, he's gotten a kind of a misnomer nationally because people don't see him play every week. But, they targeted him 13 times last week, and he completed 7, but he
3 minutes.
defended 6 of them, and he's going against an NFL-ready guy in that Marvin Harrison Jr. So, I think he's certainly got all the tools, 6'2", 210, runs really fast, got long arms. I mean, to me, he's NFL ready, but it's just hard. Even if you're a great NFL corner, you're going to get beat some.
Sure,
and
sure.
The key in this game is how they're going to call it. We got ACC referees. I hope they don't think they're calling a basketball game here and they call every little ticky-tack foul. But hopefully we won't get a lot of penalties there in that game.
Coach, with that being said, our last one, targeting seems to be a big controversy.
Yeah.
Is there anything in your mind that they can do this offseason to try to address that and maybe get a better handle on targeting?
I think it's certainly a safety point that needs to be something that needs to be taught from a coaching perspective as far as keeping your head up. And they've really worked hard with the ability to not disqualify a guy quite as quickly where they review them. But I don't know how you're going to keep from. If it's real close, they're going to call it, and then if, they'll check it and see if it's really what is defined by targeting. But I think one thing I'd like to see, though, is pass defense. If you call interference, I always just like in the pros where you get the ball where the spot foul. But
yeah.
But I'm an offensive coach, but the defensive coaches, hey, they're all against that. They wouldn't want to change it, but just depends. But I hope you guys get a chance to watch that game.
Oh,
Go
we will.
Dogs.
Absolutely.
Hey, real quick, Coach, Uga not making a trip, number 1. You can be watching Uga, or they're going to do Rent a Bulldog when they get to Cali. What's going to happen here with no Uga out there on the sideline?
He must be overconfident. I don't know what the deal is. Uga not to show. Seriously, they might have told him he couldn't fly in first class. The first time I ever went on a trip at OU, here at Georgia, they were telling me about the seating and everything. I said, I want to put my players up in first class, because of bigger guys. And they said, well, you can, but we got the 1 seat for Uga. I said, Uga? You got to be kidding me. So maybe Uga's not going first class. So Uga does good stuff for us.
Oh, we love you.
Coach, happy New Year.
Yeah, Coach.
Love
Thank
you,
you,
Coach.
buddy.
Thank you so much for always coming on.
All right, thanks for having me on, you guys. I hope we can win it all. And I can tell the people out there, we're going to be, hopefully we can get this 2 in a row, but we're going to be stacked up like club sandwiches next year on this team. We're going to be really good.
Oh, geez. Can't get any better.
Love
than
it,
that.
Coach. Thank you.
Coach Don, and you can follow him on Twitter at Coach Don. And by the way, you talked about the 15 players that were drafted. That was the most picks from one school since the draft moved to 7 rounds. It was 15 in 2022. It was 14 in 24 with Ohio State. And then in 2020, LSU also had 14. So Georgia with 15. He's saying that this team's going to be stacked.
Oh, my
Could
goodness.
have even more. Oh, my
goodness.
One
of the best defenses last year I have ever seen in college football.
Hey, make plans for the big one this Sunday, February 12th. We'll be at the showroom in Casino, Arizona, and the ballroom at Talking Stick Resort. You can win cash just for watching the big game. This year marks our 22nd consecutive year hosting the big game. Doors open at 2. First come, first serve. On Monday, I'll have a big announcement on Talking Stick and what we're doing there, and our big guest that we're going to have, which is going to be absolutely huge, that each and every one of you will have an opportunity to meet and get an autograph. It's the big game viewing parties with tons of cash giveaways. We start jackpots at $4,000 at both locations. So we hope to see you February 12th at either Casino, Arizona or Talking Stick Resort. Well, Monday is Black Monday in the National Football League. Will Cliff Kingsbury be on that list? And who are some of the other coaches that we are predicting that could get fired? We'll get into that next as we continue on from Wright Toyota. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
A gift card as they are running a $100 holiday special. That's 50% off. You need to jump on it now. Miracle Skin Laser Spas, located in the Paradise Valley Aesthetics offices at 32nd Street, just north of Cactus. Head to miracleskinlaserspa.com and take advantage of this incredible holiday special.
The big one is almost here, and the only place year after year to watch it is either in the showroom in Casino, Arizona, and in the ballroom at Talking Stick Resort. The team at Fox Sports 910 will be giving away the cash just for watching the big game, as this year marks our 22nd consecutive season hosting the game of the year. You can win cash at both locations. It's the return of our kickoff jackpot. That'll be nearly $4,000 at both locations. Plus, you receive free $25 squares, along with the chance at winning $100 propositions. Doors open at 2 at both locations, but space is limited, so it's first come, first serve. Don't be shut out. Just be 21 or older and be present in the showroom at Casino, Arizona, or the ballroom at Talking Stick Resort. This is the only way to watch the big game. Full-service lounges, great game menus, and tons of ways to win cash. It's Fox Sports 910's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.S. big game viewing parties at both in the showroom at Casino, Arizona, and in the ballroom at Talking Stick Resort.
Duke's Sports Grill on Miller and McDowell.
Duke's on Miller and McDowell.
Don't just drink at Duke's, play at Duke's.
Duke's on Miller and McDowell.
5 pool tables.
Duke's on Miller and McDowell.
Play shuffleboard and foosball. Duke's on Miller and McDowell. Karaoke and live trivia nights all week long.
Duke's on Miller and McDowell.
3 huge patios on the Greenbelt. 1 non-smoking and all doggy friendly.
Duke's on Miller and McDowell.
Where Dukes? Where Dukes? Miller and McDowell. Scottsdale.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try Babbel for free. That's BABBEL.com.
The Drive with Jody Ayler. Now in mornings, Monday, 6 to 10 on Fox Sports 910.
I've always been impressed. I remember as a true freshman, I was like, this is unreal that he's a true freshman. It's the same way he looks as a rookie quarterback, just the poise,
You guys are hot.
The pocket presence, getting through his reads and going to the right spot with the ball.
Cliff Kingsbury talking about Brock Purdy. Of course, Manuch has been training Brock since he was in diapers.
9th grade. He wasn't quite diapers. It was going into those formative high school years, Brock Purdy.
Hey, our State 48 Roofing It's Your Call question of the day. Speaking of the Cardinals, who must have a big game for the Cards on offense in order for them to upset the 49ers. You really think there's a such thing as an upset in this game?
No. But if they are going to have an upset, who'd be that individual who's got a ball
So your
out?
4 choices are on our Twitter page at Roc and Manuch: David Blau, Hollywood Brown, James Conner, or Trey McBride. So Blau, Brown, Conner, or McBride. You can vote at our Twitter page at Roc and Manuch. And as always, brought to you by State 48 Roofing. For free quotes, head to state48roofing.com. You can always follow them on social media. Just search hashtag sexy roof status.
And right now, it's Hollywood Brown is questionable, but they feel he will play. James Conner also questionable. They feel he will play. Trey McBride not questionable. David Blau not questionable. The Cardinals defense starters are 7 starters on the Cardinals defense currently questionable. 10 total on the defensive side that are questionable. Now, imagine, I think out of those 7, I think all 7 will probably go. They're going to have to, they're going to have all hands on deck because, hell, they'll be reaching into the stands and bring people out of the stands if they have to. And I'm sure they may try, who knows, maybe try to sign somebody today or tomorrow just to have on the practice squad if they have to elevate them on game day.
So here's Coach talking about finishing the season strong.
We always want to play your best football at the end, and we get one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league right now, and so it'll definitely be a tall task. But I know our guys are excited about the challenge, and we'll cut it loose, see what happens.
We'll cut it loose.
Well,
all right, Coach. We'll cut it loose. You're going to get cut loose.
Well, he's going to cut it loose. Yeah, that's it, because he's got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And
I think he is run down. I think it's time. I think, watching Hard Knocks and you see the interviews and you see him and you just say to yourself, man, he's miserable. I just think he's gonna take his extension, that money, take out, have a year off, and travel. He's got the hot model wife, girlfriend, whatever, and have some fun, and then find the right college coach job for him. I think he's a college coach, I just think, or a coordinator in the NFL, but I don't think he's proved that a team would bring him on as an offensive coordinator. I think he's going to have to go back to the college ranks and kind of prove himself over.
And to that point right there, Rock, if there's a that USC job is Graham Harrell, one of his proteges, is the OC at USC. Yeah, I agree. I think if he can go to a college and prove that they can win with his offense. And then at some point, they might elevate him as a head coach because they've seen what he can do at Texas Tech. He lights it up, but you got to win.
Yeah.
And those big oil guys, whether it's Texas or down south Oklahoma, they want wins. They don't care if you put 600 yards of total offense. They want wins.
I understand that, but I think what he's learned the last 4 years as an NFL coach is going to help him at the next job in college.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I can see him taking over Eastern Michigan, or a MAC school of some sort, and bringing that offense to a school in the MAC that doesn't light it up and show that, hey, his offense works if he's got the right players and if he can recruit. Because it just seems like he's that guy that it seems like he's always recruiting in the sense of complimenting his players, and that's a good thing, but like the players are college kids.
It wasn't a matter of him getting the players at Tech. It was just a matter of him finding the defense that could stop people. And when Mike Leach was there, Mike Leach had more of a defensive feel. Remember, he was taking them on that national title tour until they lost. But Mike Leach was the initial guy, and a lot of that residue when he moved on to Washington State, and then Cliff took over. He was getting some of that that backwash of people coming there, but he just didn't focus enough on defense. Hey, they went after Patrick Mahomes. They got him because Patrick Mahomes realized, hell, we'll throw the ball maybe 50, 55, 60 times. But in the meantime, they ran fairly decent, but they just could never stop anybody. And that's why, again, at the end of his years at Tech, they faded, much like this Arizona Cardinals team. Those last 2 years, they faded. When you look at the scenario of this team, I mean, you stop and think about it, guys. They've lost 17 out of the last 22 games. Think about that. You've won 5 games in your last 22 games.
That's why he's going to get fired.
And that's the bulk of it right there.
Part of the business. On the flip side, with the 49ers, we'll catch up with the play-by-play voice of the 49ers. Greg Papa will join us in about an hour. But here's Coach Kyle Shanahan yesterday talking about how important it is for the 49ers to win this game.
Right now we got the 2 seed, and we want to make sure we at least stay the 2 seed. In order to do that, we need to win. Maybe if Minnesota lost before us. That wouldn't be the case, but I'm counting on us having a win to get that.
So the Niners can clinch the number 1 seed and a first-round bye with the win, coupled by a loss by the Eagles, which could happen the way the Eagles have been playing as of late.
Yeah, but again, you don't know what the Giants are going to do. They say they're going to be playing their starters. They say that now, but I think the Eagles will win that game handily. The 49ers want it. They want to win that, the game against the Cardinals just for the sake of, have that continuity, that chemistry, and then go to the playoffs. But I can't see the Giants upsetting the Eagles whatsoever, whether Jalen Hurts plays or not.
Well, it's trending that he is going to play.
Yeah, that's why I saw that.
So let's keep our fingers crossed there. So, again, on Monday is Black Monday. We've already had 3 coaches fired this year. Matt Rule in Carolina, the Colts and Frank Wright, Denver Broncos with Coach Hackett. They all already been looking for jobs. But Black Monday, I don't think it's going to be too crazy this year. There are several coaches that we may see on Monday getting the hook. I think it's pretty safe to say I think Jeff Saturday with the Colts most likely won't be.
I would agree.
Won't be there. I think it's interesting to see what's going to happen with the Saints and Dennis Allen. I don't know if he's the guy. I don't know if he's going to be the one that's going to make a difference. They need a quarterback there bad. The only quarterback they have under contract is James Winston. The team's already traded away their 2023 first-round pick. So,
but they could go to if they win and they get some help, they could go to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he sticks because the lack of expectations going to the season for the Saints weren't high.
They win, they go 8-9. I mean, they struggled early on in the year trying to figure out who her quarterback was going to be, and they finally settled with Dalton, and Taysom Hill would spot play once in a while. But I think Dennis Allen's figuring, okay. I mean, talk about a guy's had all kinds of injuries and people move on. Here he is. He's had a lot of injuries with his line, and he's in the hunt for a playoff game.
You could probably make a case to keep some of these guys I'm mentioning.
Sure.
Like Ron Rivera.
Yeah,
okay?
that's interesting.
He's very well respected, okay, but he's kind of hit a bump in the road by gambling with Carson Wentz. Put him in the game for a must-win last week against Cleveland. They lay an egg. That wasn't good. You just wonder if this ownership, whoever that may be, or where it's going, says, all right, we're gonna keep him there. I don't know. I have a feeling that he gets let go.
The head scratcher is you start. You got Heineke playing fairly well, and you bench him. Then you, to your point, bring Wentz back, and now this week he went back to Heineke, but yesterday he switched to Sam Howell.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going, Ron, what are you doing? So I don't know if he's just kind of grab bagging right now. Just stay the course. And I think with this ownership, it's like, okay, do we let him go and we sell the team, let them come in with their own people? Or do I make the firing now, clean house? But if you sell the team, you got a new GM, a new head coach.
2 minutes.
That new ownership may want to. I mean, it's a mess right now in Washington.
I think another team that you can look at, or a coach, I should say, is Josh McDaniels with the Raiders. They've had so many games. They were 4-9 in games decided by 6 points or fewer. I mean, they allowed the Cardinals, who are horrible, to come back from a 20-0 deficit.
Right.
They allowed the Chiefs to come back from 17-0. They allowed the Jags to come back from 20-0. They allowed Baker Mayfield and the Rams 16-3. You remember in the final 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and then the Steelers to come back from a 10-3 in the fourth quarter. So when you look at that, that's not good. Even though it says all reports are that Mark Davis, Josh McDaniels has the support of the team over Mark Davis. But I am anxious to see how that all plays out too.
And you have the Derek Carr issue. Yep, right there, right. The Derek Carr scenario. Jarrett Stidham, who knows his system. That's the best they've moved offensively against anybody. The 49ers, the number one defense, and the Niners had to come back, tie it up, and then beat them in overtime. So I think how well they play against the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend and how they did, I think what Mark Davis is taking a look at. But I quite frankly think he comes back as a head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. I really do.
Lovie Smith, Texans, 8-24 in his previous NFL stint. He's been fired, if you remember, at University of Illinois, where he didn't do well there. He was 17-39. The only good thing with this team, not knowing that he's going to be back or not, I don't think he will, is they have more than $46 million in estimated salary cap space. They're a young team, a lot of young players that could blossom here in the next couple of years. But I think you brought in a Lovie Smith at a time where they needed an older coach to kind of handle all the BS that was going on with that organization, right? I mean, all the problems they were having, and they were cleaning house. You lose your quarterback. But then again, of course, Cliff Kingsbury would be the last in 4 seasons. 6-15 in games played in December and January.
Yeah, they're a mess.
6-15.
And again, it's all about the GM head coach combo. The old chicken before the egg theory, to get the general manager first, allow him to come in there and do his job. And I think for some of these owners, Rock, you might think of the Tennessee Titans owner. The daughter took over and she kind of cleaned house. She fires the general manager. They're on a winning streak. That what is their philosophy moving forward? And you talk about the kind of money that they have and how they're going to spend it to keep
it's a lot of money.
A lot of team. Look at the Cardinals. They've got 28 unrestricted free agents.
Say goodbye.
I mean, so it's you let the coaches go. You get a new GM. They're in a total rebuild mode. They're in a total rebuild mode.
D-Hop's not going to want to stay here.
You know what, Rock? The more and more I you said that yesterday. I thought about that. You could tell. I mean, he got one catch last week. I mean, 2 weeks ago. You could tell he's visibly upset about that.
All right, you degenerates. I'm one of them. Scott Spreitzer from DocSports.com will break down the national title game with Georgia TCU, as well as some of the top NFL games. As he does it every week. He's been doing it with us for the past 18 years. Scott Spreitzer joins us next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 9.
Encouraging news about Bills safety Damar Hamlin, who had his breathing tube removed overnight and even spoke to his Bills teammates through FaceTime this morning. Arizona survived, beating Washington by 3 last night. Tommy Lloyd on the performance.
I was really proud of our guys for how they hung with it. And, you know, I knew all along this team has some grit and we're going to get tested.
The Wildcats get Washington State tomorrow afternoon. The Suns home for the Heat tonight. The Yotes visit the Blackhawks, and the Mercury have hired former WNBA player Monica Wright-Rogers as an assistant GM. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
The annual big game viewing parties are set again in the showroom at Casino Arizona and the Ballroom and Talking Stick Resort, Sunday, February 12th. Plenty of cash and prizes to be had. First come, first serve. Head to rockandmanuch.com for more details.
Sun Devil men's basketball is better in person. Grab your friends, family, and neighbors and get to Desert Financial Arena to catch Frankie Collins, Warren Washington, and the Cambridge brothers for all the action. The Sun Devils start the new year when they face Washington State on January 5th and Washington on January 8th. Purchase your tickets today by calling 480-965-5812 or go online to sundeviltickets.com. Sun Devil men's basketball, onward to victory.
It's Dom with Venezia's Pizzeria. We love providing great food for family gatherings, parties, even work meetings. And we make it simple.
We sure do, no matter what the occasion. At Venezia's, we make catering easy. You can see our entire catering menu online at venezias.com. Or let us know how we can help at one of our 6 locations, including the newest, now open in Chandler.
We'd love to bring Venezia's to your next party. Venezia's Pizzeria, a family tradition.
Hey, it's Gross. Join me, Bauer, and Jackson every Saturday from 11 to 1 live from the Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar at Casino Arizona for Take the Points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar.
I'm Byron Brown, the anti-lawyer lawyer. When it comes to your personal injury case, I'm straight to the point. I'll answer your call. No BS.
Hey, this is Peter Schrager from the NFL Network's morning show, Good Morning Football. You've also seen me on NFL Sidelines and in studio for Fox Sports on Sunday. Well, I've got a new podcast with iHeart in the NFL, and we're calling it The Season with Peter Schrager. In each episode of this season, I'm going to empty my proverbial notebook and take you inside and behind the scenes on the conversations that happen at the highest levels of NFL franchises. Listen to The Season with Peter Schrager on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
What makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination? Because they offer free battery testing and charging and reliable replacement batteries starting at just $79.99. And they've always got your battery solution. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Time to break down this weekend's biggest games with one of the nation's premier handicappers. From DocSports.com and seen every week on ESPN's Sunday Countdown, he's Scott Spreitzer. And here to help make sure your picks pay out with Roc and Manuch on Fox Sports 910.
Before we get going into this weekend's game, I always like to, at times, just kind of get a recap of how last week went with the semifinals. And Scott joins us now on the Right to It, a guest line. You can always follow him on his Twitter page at Scott Wynn, part of DocSports.com. So how did Vegas do? Well, I know that's a dumb question. How did you do? And what you were handicapping when it comes to the two games last weekend with the Rose Bowl and Peach Bowl?
I was very happy, guys. I passed the TCU Michigan game, and I had my biggest play of the bowls on the Buckeyes plus the points.
Yes.
So I was very happy last week, and we kind of talked about it on the show last Friday with the guys that I felt that the Ohio State adjustment off the Michigan loss, which was basically 1.5 bad quarters of mistakes in football, was over-adjusted on the point spread based on the power ratings. And I'll make it quick, but before the Michigan loss, Ohio State and Georgia were basically pick as far as the power rating is concerned. And so all of a sudden they hang a line of 6.5, 7 based off of the Buckeyes, ugly second half against Michigan. So I just had to trust the power ratings and thought there was too much of an adjustment, and it turned out there was. So very happy with the semifinals.
Yeah, I did the same. I was listening to that interview. We were off, and we heard the kids do the show, and we were like, I heard you go Ohio State, and I was like, ding! I got my app going. I was like, I didn't like the outcome because I wanted to. I would have liked to see that field goal go, but. So now you turn your attention to Georgia and TCU, and before you kind of handicap this, has there ever been games like this, like a national championship, where you say, I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to stay away. Like you stayed away from the Michigan game.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's funny because like the Super Bowl, for example, I've been doing this on a so-called professional level since 1995. Wow. And there's been 3 or 4 Super Bowls that I've just passed. I handicap it. I look at it and I thought, you know what? I might play a couple of props here just for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get involved. And that happens, that happens in the NFL playoffs quite a bit too, where I just think, if this was on a regular Sunday when you had, 14, 15 games to choose from, would you play this game? And when the answer comes up, absolutely not, I just pass. So yeah, for me, it's a business. And if it says pass, I pass. If this number in this Georgia TCU game would have been, 14, I would have passed. I made Georgia 15 as far as my power ratings are concerned before last week's semifinal game. So it's funny to watch the betting in this because it has been so lopsided in favor of TCU. I mean, just ticket after ticket being written on the Horned Frogs. And, at one point I saw where there was like 83% of the bets had come in on Texas Christian. And then as far as the money line, a lot of the public in these big games, like the national title in college football, the Super Bowl, they like to bet the money line on the underdog. And the problem with that is they're getting zero value. The books know that the public is going to be pulling for the dog, and they're going to want to get that big bang for their buck. So a lot of people are going to bet TCU on the money line just to win the game outright, and they don't give you a fair number. The fair money line number on this should be TCU plus 475. It's plus 375 as we speak, which means you get $375 for every $100 you bet if TCU wins. And so you're really getting shortchanged by the books. It's really messed up. I don't think they should be able to get away with that, but they do. And they do the same thing in the Super Bowl. And this is also the only game in college football the entire year, the championship, where the public moves the number because of the incredible amount of bets that are made on this game. And of course, the Super Bowl, the public actually influences the number. And it's been all public money. It's been all TCU. It's come down to now as low as 12 in some of the Vegas books. So I stick with Georgia at 15. It's not a big play like last week, but it'll be a play for me.
Yeah, I see the over-under is currently at 62.5, unless that's changed, Scott. But I think, hey, the first one to 52 wins this game. I mean, the way that we saw the air raid, we saw scoring all over the place, and how Ohio State exposed Georgia. I might stay away from the play and look at. I might take the over in this bad boy.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you. I mean, the only thing that makes me think twice is that Kirby Smart not only got a break by winning that football game and Ohio State missing the field goal, but he also kind of got a break in that he can really hammer down on that secondary this week. Preparing for TCU, and they got their butts kicked, that Georgia secondary, and that was one of the reasons I liked Ohio State last week, was that Georgia's secondary is outside the top 50 in pass defense. It's not the same Georgia team we saw last year winning the national title, but I look at TCU guys. They lost to Kansas State once, could have easily lost twice. They beat Kansas by 7. They snuck by Okie State in double overtime. They escaped Baylor with a 1-point win. I give them credit for winning all those games. But at the same time, I don't think they're going to hang around in this contest. It's not a big play again. This is going to be one of those games. Georgia could even be up like 31-10 at one point. Let's say if they have their way and they play, their A game, and still TCU has the chance to cover that big number because they're not going to quit firing, obviously, through the air. Michigan made a ton of mistakes, and you just don't usually see Georgia making those kind of mistakes. So that's why I lean towards Georgia. But I can't blame anybody who wants to, bet the over and thinks it's going to be, a 48-38 type of game.
All right, Scott, let's look at the National Football League. A lot of ramifications, a lot of games, this one being one of them. Lions at the Packers. The Packers win. The Packers are minus 4.5. Lions win. They got need a little bit of help to make it in the back door. How do you see this one playing out in Lambeau Field?
Yeah, Packers win and they're in. Hard to believe after what they were doing a few weeks ago. And then, of course, Detroit needs to win and a Seattle loss. And they're going to know if their fate is in their hands about 45 minutes or so before this one kicks off. I thought Seattle didn't receive any favors from the NFL with this game being flexed because if they win, they need Detroit to beat Green Bay. Does Detroit bring the same effort if they've got nothing to play for? I'm not saying they won't, but they should have had these games kicking off at the same time as far as I'm concerned. And I do believe Dan Campbell will have his team ready even if they're out of the playoff picture, but not enough to bet the game before we get Seattle's results. And maybe this line goes up if Seattle wins because then the folks are going to think, well, Detroit has nothing to play for. At that point, I will jump in on Detroit. If this line continues to go up a little bit, if Seattle wins that game 45 minutes before this game kicks off, I'll look to take Detroit. So it's one of those games where it's like a lot of those Week 18 games or Week 17 games in past years where let's sit and wait on those late games and see what happens in a couple of the early games. And it's just what happens in that final week of the season.
All right, Scott, Eagles have a chance to lock up the number 1 seed in the NFC as they host the Giants. They have a lot more at stake. Is that why this spread is 14?
Yeah, because a lot of players are supposed to be sitting for the Giants. Philly's got, the chance to wrap up home field advantage throughout the playoffs. If they lose, they can still get there if Dallas and San Francisco both lose, but those games are all going at the same time. But the Eagles have been a well-oiled machine when Hurts is healthy, and he's listed as probable. The issue in starting Hurts is that the offensive line is missing Lane Johnson. And as one report came out, do you know when Lane Johnson, he's missed 31 games in his career, the Eagles are 9-22
wow.
when he's not on the field. Yeah, so he's hugely important to the health of Jalen Hurts. So for those reasons and the fact that, you got Tyrod Taylor who could play for the G-Men at quarterback. So it's not like they got some rookie out there with little or zero experience. And I think 14 is a little bit too much. If the Eagles are up, 31-14 with 8 minutes to go in the game or 10 minutes or whatever, I really doubt that you're going to see Jalen Hurts out there finishing the game if it looks like a comfortable lead, and that gives the Giants a chance for that backdoor cover. So it's a lean to the Giants plus the big spread.
Scott, it seems like that could be somewhat the same story. The Cardinals travel to San Francisco. Niners are minus 14. They still want to play, and hopefully the Eagles lose. We doubt it, but they still sounds like Kyle Shanahan wants to make sure that they stay dialed in and they win this game going away.
Yeah, and I think this game also, I think the over is the best bet for this game. David Blau at quarterback, and how motivated the Cardinals will be, that all that kind of stuff comes into the handicap of the side. And, can Kingsbury get his team focused to play hard throughout, all that stuff? Blau was fine last week, 40 passes, 1 touchdown, no picks, and they covered the number. But they are good on the road. They're 3-4 straight up on the road this season. They've been a good bet over the last couple of years on the road, and they're on the road again. I look at the Niners. McCaffrey's banged up and questionable. Debo is expected to play, return in this game. They've got a quarterback who you might have heard of who does seem to take care of business.
Yeah.
And so I look at the Cardinals and their defensive struggles against the run of the pass, giving up 26 a game. I could see a 30-17 type of game, guys, and I like a little action on the over. The total sitting right around 39.5. I think it's kind of low, and I do think it ends up probably in the mid to high 40s.
And I think the rain will have come and gone by that time because I know they've been getting deluged yesterday and today.
Right.
But I think it's they've got another storm coming though, Scott. So
yeah, got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Scott, we always appreciate your time, buddy. Good luck this weekend. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Have a good one, man.
Hey, that is Scott Spreitzer, DocSports.com, sports betting expert, and you can follow him on Twitter at Scott Wins. So week number 18 kicks off on Saturday. Hey, tomorrow, I think. Are you guys back on air tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, we are.
Is the whole team there?
Gross won't be. Gross, shout
They-
out Gross for last week going solo with Ryan Sirk, our fine producer. Did a great job. It's me and Bauer tomorrow.
Oh, you were busy last week.
Was very
Yeah.
busy.
Did we see any results of how busy you were? Did we see that anywhere with Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B? Or,
Oh, yeah.
You did? Okay. I'm
Yeah.
just
Any
checking.
videos or anything?
Sound.
Retweet. Yeah.
I mean, I know he interviewed Harbaugh and it went viral, but it didn't make it on our page that the employer.
Wasn't that why you sent him on
Yes,
assignment
it went on some
initially?
Jack Sports, whatever.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Jacko Sports.
Jacko Sports.
Jacko
Yeah, like
Sports.
everybody calls him Jacko on here.
I'm
Hey,
just-
Jacko.
Wait, Jackson, you only told him about the one that went viral?
Yeah, a couple. Yeah, thanks for
Because
playing. Jack.
there were multiple.
Oh, man. Hey, Mega Millions, I'll tell you about that tonight. I'm all in, man. Throwing all in, so I won't be here on Monday.
You're not gonna just me and Jimmy B will just running the show, huh?
No, we'll probably just quit. We're done. We're retired. It's all the money.
Can I be your driver?
$1 billion. We're out here, right, Toyota. It's Roc, Manuch, no Jimmy B, but we got Jacko. Jacko.
Yeah.
On Fox Sports 910.
Ted.
Jared, do you know the human head weighs 8 pounds?
Did you know that Troy Aikman in only 6 years has passed for 16,303 yards? Did you know the career record for most hits is 4,256 by Pete Rose, who was not in the Hall of Fame?
Do you know my next door neighbor has 3 rabbits?
Now time for Fox Sports 910's Roc and Manuch
You guys are hot.
Jimmy B to give you the random facts of the day driven by your Valley Chevy dealers. Find new roads at your Chevy dealer. For a dealer near you, head to valleychevy.com.
Mega Millions tonight. It'll close at 8 o'clock. Current estimated jackpot is $940 million. But if you like to take the cash option, which I'd be okay with, $486.
Can you handle that all right?
I think so.
And then after taxes, you probably net about
200?
200?
I'm okay with
Oh,
that.
absolutely. Maybe a little side job to kind of enhance that, but yeah, I think $200 million would suffice.
I think I could get through the week.
What's the
month,
very
year?
very first thing you'd buy, Rock, to go ahead and spend or do? What would you do? Very first thing.
Not what I would buy; it's what I would pay.
Okay.
In other words, I'd pay off everything.
Good idea.
Right, houses.
Sure.
Your any debt I have. I'd fire you.
Okay.
I'd hire somebody that
I got a good buyout clause, by the way.
I would hire like a pro, like an Al Michaels, somebody like a big time guy.
Sure.
Oh
Yeah, because you can afford him.
Yeah,
because you can't afford me.
Yeah. So I have the money, and then I give the keys to Jackson and Ben to do the show for the rest.
Here you go.
Done.
Me and Jimmy B make token apperances because would we get a buyout package?
No.
Me and Jimmy B?
No, I would
Pension?
maybe a Home Depot gift card or something like that.
Take it, man.
I don't know. I think all of us that go out and buy these tickets every month or year or whatever, whenever there's these big numbers, you do fantasize with your, with your significant other, whoever. You're like,
hey, honey,
what would you do? And you wish and you wish and you wish, but your chances aren't great.
No, they're not. I think it was last night. They talked about on Tuesday. By the way, I won $4 on Tuesday, so that might be a good sign.
So
won $4, man.
You want to win, you got to play, right?
Exactly. So I think it was 1 in 301 billion. I'm sorry, 301 million. I'm sorry, 1 in 301 million were your odds as far as winning.
I don't know if you knew this because it's a random fact. Chocolate ice cream was invented before vanilla ice cream.
Really?
I would have never thought that.
I love chocolate ice cream.
That's some really useless knowledge.
Chocolate before vanilla?
If you're at the watering hole tonight, hey, did you know that chocolate ice cream was invented before vanilla ice cream? Like, who cares?
You know me, Rock. I'm a chocoholic. I like the chocolate ice with a little chocolate syrup on top there. Maybe it's to point some. Now, if I got vanilla and there's no chocolate around, I'll get one of those Hershey's chocolate pudding cups, the chocolate pudding.
Yeah,
I'll put that on the ice cream, mix it in there a little bit, little choco.
So
vanilla.
With college football season is going to conclude on Monday, we'll be out to CAZ Sports Bar. I know we're all kind of bummed that college football season's over because then we're going to talk about transfer portal all year, NIL, everything like that, new networks and all this stuff. Michigan Stadium had the highest attendance average this year as the Wolverines did 110,246 fans, followed by Beaver Stadium with Penn State. They came in second. They averaged just over 107, and then the Buckeyes were the third at just over 104. That's impressive. The Big Ten outdraws the SEC.
Now, you've been to Michigan Stadium. You gave a report. You visited there.
At Ohio State this year.
What is the traffic like coming and going? You have over 100,000 people coming and going.
The parking is on a golf course. The tailgate's on their golf course.
At Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan.
Okay.
I don't think it wasn't really hard to get in and out because it's the middle of nowhere, right?
Okay. All right.
The thing my biggest takeaway, being a sports marketing guy, that advertisers and stuff like that, there are no advertisers anywhere. It is so clean
at Michigan.
You notice it's
it's
not like State Farm Stadium where there's no ads anywhere. When I went, this was 3 years ago, maybe they played Cincinnati. I remember all I saw anywhere in the entire stadium was Powerade on the sideline of Cincinnati.
Are you kidding me?
I didn't see any other ads. And I'm like looking at all this as a marker, like, oh my God, that could be Toyota right there. You could do so-and-so here, Coca-Cola here. I mean, they don't sell it.
No.
But when you're getting 110,000 people,
I guess
you're making so much money there. I wonder if that will change with NIL.
Very sterile stadium.
Extremely. But a lot of people like that. It's tradition.
Yeah.
I mean, my love for Michigan. It was cool. I mean, it was cool. I was able to. It was a Fiesta Bowl thing, and I got to go down and saw my boy Brady and his picture up on the wall and all the great players that have come out.
110,000 people. There's not cities that big, Rock. I mean,
you go to Columbus. You're at Buckeye Ohio Stadium. There's ads everywhere.
Sure.
So it's just something that I noticed that maybe a lot of people would.
You at least on some TV when you watch Ohio State, it seems more like you talk about marketing, but it just seems like there's more energy, more going on. And you watch Michigan Stadium, it seems a little more stoic, a little more old school kind of fans football. And that's good football, but it seems like it's dull versus Ohio State is bright and energetic and there's fandom and there's the band and the cheerleaders and all that stuff.
It's tough when you go in with your mindset as you can't stand Michigan, and then you go to Ohio State game and you like Ohio State. I mean, it's a different feel, but both of them do have this incredible energy. It's hard not to get caught up. Like, I can see being a young kid and you really are not associated with any program yet,
right.
And you're 10, 12, 15, 16 years old and you get to go to a Michigan game, you're probably going to end up a Michigan fan.
Yeah, sure.
If you're not, associated with anybody. And that's the sad part about Arizona State. And maybe Dillingham can instill that type of tradition because this university's been around a long time. There is a lot of history.
Sure,
but Sun Devil Stadium is a bore. I mean, the energy is not there. It's hard to keep the fan base, or I should say the student fan base, there after halftime.
Beyond halftime.
It's always been that way. It's never been that much fun, and I've been going for 30 years now.
But when they're winning, it's fun, and that's the only problem with ASU. It's fair weather fandom,
big time. I mean, you're right. We're winning.
They're winning. It's fun.
Like everybody that's been across the street, we're right across the street from the 16th hole. Everybody was at when Tiger hit the hole one. Everybody was at Chase Field or Bagwell Ballpark when Gonzalez hit the hit
game winner,
the win. Everybody was at. Same thing. Everybody was at that ASU Nebraska game. I mean, I was carrying the goalpost, right? I mean, everybody was.
I can admit, I was watching it,
but that was a game, and I was there. But that was an incredible time because you brought in that big school. That's why it's like I wish they would schedule some more of those. Those big. When Notre Dame was here, that was a good crowd. It was a fun crowd. But you got to start winning before you can start.
That's
scheduling those guys, and you got to schedule 8, 9, 10, 12 years out.
Sure. And I think that's the one thing there. If Kenny Dillingham can get this team turned around and start winning on a consistent basis, and vying for the Pac-12 championship, that's going to turn the corner for the fans.
By the way, the other night, Wednesday night, I didn't get to talk about this yesterday, but it's kind of a funny story. Jersey Gate. I don't know if you saw this. Florida against Texas A&M. Texas A&M found themselves in a very embarrassing dilemma on Wednesday night. About 10 minutes before the start of that game, it was an SEC men's basketball opener at Florida. And following the team prayer, the players returned to the court in the final round for pregame warm-ups.
Right.
And the Aggies realized that their game jerseys had been left at the team hotel.
Oh, you're kidding me.
They forgot the team jerseys. So they had to put the game on hold. And what happened was the start of the game was delayed by 15 minutes as the managers getting back to that team hotel to find the gear and all this stuff. And they were assessed an administrative technical foul. It was called an administrative technical foul.
Okay.
Which Florida, their player was Will Richard was his name.
Yeah.
Sank the opening tip-off.
30 seconds, guys.
First free throw. So the game was 1-0 before it even started.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, it's called an administrative technical foul.
You think those equipment managers want to get away right now,
Oh,
Ron?
my God.
You imagine that? Hey, did you get him? No, I thought you got him. What? You were supposed to.
It's not like you need 100.
No, you don't.
It's basketball.
10 seconds.
Oh, man.
Sean Salisbury, Rewind, Gary Papa, all coming up.
Shopping for a mortgage? Big banks can be a big hassle.
All right, good stuff, guys.
GC Global Capital and work with a local team of mortgage experts for great rates and lower fees, more options, and faster closings. Don't let your dream home purchase turn into a nightmare. Call the professionals at GC Global Capital, 480-397-9300. GC Global Capital, your local mortgage professionals. GC Global Capital is an Arizona licensed mortgage broker, NMLS 1091. 187, license MB 0924983, and equal opportunity lender.
Where will your new Chevy take you this year? Anywhere. It's the perfect time of year to take your next adventure off-road in a powerful Chevy Silverado. Round up the whole gang for some family fun in a Chevy Equinox. Hey kids, let's go. Or take your night on the town by storm in a stylish Chevy Blazer. Make more memories and take on the road ahead, wherever it leads you. Find new experiences, find new roads. See your Valley Chevy dealers.
Of course, your favorite station is on the free iHeartRadio app. Take us with you anywhere and listen anytime. Plus, get thousands of other stations and playlists all free. Download our free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
iHeartRadio.
It all comes down to the national championship game on Monday. Your go-to for betting is DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 910. Bet just $5 on college football and get $200 in free bets instantly. That's code 910 only at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and over, Arizona only. Gambling problem, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Bonus issued as free bets. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms.
If you've had COVID, you can get it again. And next time, it could be worse, especially for those 50 or older with a chronic condition. An updated vaccine gives you better protection from COVID's worst outcomes. Find COVID vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I never write reviews, but Navage is so amazing, I had to leave one. Nothing's ever cleared out my sinuses as well. I'm blown away by how Navage works. That's a review from Carrie, and it's one of over 100,000 online testimonials praising Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I've talked about flushing out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs. How Navage's powered suction can help you breathe better, and how your nose is the body's air filter, and Navage will clean it out. But don't take my word for it. What do people like Chad say, who wrote, Navage has helped clear out my nasal passages every single night. My wife says my snoring has gone way down. Snorefest be gone, unquote. Navage is the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million customers to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Broadcasting from the Superbook.com studio. Superbook Sports, now live. This is KGME Phoenix, KESC HD2 Phoenix, an iHeart radio station. Available everywhere on our free iHeart radio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Here's what's trending on Fox Sports 910.
The Suns mired at a 4-game slide play host to the Heat tonight. Devin Booker expected to miss at least 3 more weeks, and the team is 2-8 without him. He was seen putting up shots today at morning shoot-around, though. NFL owners have approved a plan that leaves the chance of there being a neutral site AFC championship game. Damar Hamlin of the Bills now breathing on his own, and he's speaking with his family, and he even FaceTimed the team today. The Coyotes back in action visiting the Blackhawks, and it's the Desert Hockey Classic back at Mullet Arena. Arizona State gets Michigan Tech tonight. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
Now's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Bank. That's bank. Enter it now at foxsports910.com.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
For tonight, look for mostly clear skies, temperatures dipping down into those low 40s. And then for your Saturday, things are looking very nice. Plenty of sunshine and temperatures in those upper 60s. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Ty Brennan.
This report is sponsored by Parker & Sons.
Parker & Sons, your AC, plumbing, electrical, and even water filtration experts. With Parker & Sons, you get service in minutes, not days. So call 602-2REPAIR for Parker. We're not your average Joe.
Calling all sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Proudly sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Roc in Iraq and need. Sports 910.
Guys are hot. Hope you're having a great Friday afternoon. Just after 3 o'clock, Roc and Manuch with you today. We're out here at Wright Toyota. Got you another hour. Coming up, our Jack's Rewind or Jacko Rewind. Is it Jack's or Jacko? What do you prefer, Jack's?
Jack's works.
I love it. I like Jack's.
So I've just had that.
It's Jacko then.
I think I
he likes Jack's.
Jacko.
He likes Jacko.
Yeah, but I hear
that's what they call Michael Jackson. They call him Jacko.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they did. His nickname was Jacko. A lot of guys.
You may have been the only one.
I've heard it. Yeah, they call him Michael Jacko.
Everybody's calling him
Jacko. I mean,
Definitely,
it was Michael.
I think no, Mike. They call him Jacko. A lot of guys say.
Wow.
Now,
we got
Jax.
Jax.
I just had it since college, kept it Jacko, but I love Jax.
Good.
All right, we're
like
gonna stick with Jacko.
More mature sounding.
So Jacko, rewind. I think it sounds better. It's coming up here in just minutes.
Jax is strong.
I mean, you're the boss.
Kevin Rowe, you have an opportunity here to challenge Kevin Rowe from Lerner and Rowe in a few minutes. And then the voice of the San Francisco 49ers, Greg Papa, will join us. So looking forward to catching him. Is he on Cambiar or?
I believe something like that.
I think it's Cambiar. Better double check that before we introduce him. So I know he's been doing. He's got an afternoon.
I did his show this last week. I couldn't remember what
you subbed. You went over to San Francisco.
No, he had me on as a guest. He and John.
Talk about Cardinals.
Yeah, we talked a little Cardinals, talked a little Golden State Warriors.
Nothing to do with
nothing with Brock Purdy at all, or the 49ers. A lot of Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan comparisons, that kind of stuff.
Hey, real quick tonight, Suns they got the Heat tonight, as both teams are 20-19, so they'll go at it coming up as the Suns are coming off a 1-5 road trip. They've dropped 7 of their last 8. Coyotes got crushed last night, 6-2. 5 goals were scored by Philadelphia in the third period. They'll wrap up the 4-game road trip tonight in Chicago. And other news there with the Yotes. Congratulations for the third time. Clayton Keller has been named All-Star for the Yotes. So good to see that. And then this weekend, we'll got some basketball. ASU will host Washington as they put an end to their 2-game skid last night as they beat Washington State. It came down to the wire, 77-71 in Tempe. They're now 12-3. Arizona edged Washington. That was a good one. It was a late one. They won by 3. GCU beat Sam Houston in overtime, 72-68. So the Wildcats will host Washington State tomorrow. The Lopes will visit Stephen F. Austin.
Nice to see the Sun Devils get back on the winning track once again. And U of A, hell, the game was started 9 o'clock last night. That sucker was on. You're going, damn.
It's rough.
Sooner or later, late after dark, the Pac-12 network, they'll take them whenever they can.
Real quick, Twin Peaks, you still got a few more weeks to text Peaks to 55678 for your chance to win that backyard custom patio grill set. So just text Peaks to 55678. All right, let's get Jacko on the air.
We have a special Jack's Rewind. Obviously, we're 6 days into the new year.
Okay.
I figured it would be best to reflect on 2022.
So you had no information. You had
no. I did.
You're going back. You were being lazy. You didn't do your job this week, so you're pulling up all.
No.
I know how this works. I always wear a shirt.
I had a lot of great stuff, but these I thought would be greater for the fans to just reminisce of some of the great memories that we had from 2022.
Whatever. Way to sell it, Jack.
Yeah, really. All right, Ben, play the open. Let's get it going.
In case you missed this week of Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, our fine rookie Jackson Groff has you covered.
This is exactly what I've been waiting for.
Jax puts it all together. The best, the worst, and in his mind, the funniest moments from this week's shows. This is Jax's Rewind exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
And we're going to start off with an honorable mention. Manuch, you've been in this. You're going to be in this a lot, unfortunately, in the top 5 here. And the first one is a controversial. Rutgers or Rutgers? Play the first clip.
Winning it all, and they're going back and forth. It's like watching going to Rutgers in the middle of Manhattan and watching you guys play street ball, go up and down.
Rutgers is in New Jersey.
Yeah. Well, wherever it's at.
Wherever it's at. I've been there. I've been there. I've been there too. I've been to games there.
Back east, New Jersey. Rutgers, the park, Rutgers Park. So Rutgers Court, going back and forth, back and forth.
Wait a minute. Seriously, we're all trying to help each other out.
All right, go ahead.
And we all slip a little bit, right? We make mistakes, the same things that we all do. Like his choice wearing that hat today.
Yes.
Rutgers is in New Jersey. Yes. Okay, it's in
not
North
Rutgers.
Jersey.
I'm talking about Rutgers Park. Rutgers Park.
You said Rutgers.
I said Rutgers. No, I said
no, Manuch.
I said Rutgers Park.
You said Rutgers.
I did not
You may not have meant it, but it's what you said.
Okay,
Just like if I write something out, you're going to read what I said.
Rucker,
and I can say what I wrote. Anchorman.
I said Rucker Park. Back at Rutgers, like us, Rucker Park, going up and down the court. You can replay the tape.
Oh, we will.
Yeah.
Ben,
Oh, yeah.
get that ready for
get that ready.
That'll make it in rewind tomorrow.
So Rutgers. Rutgers. Not Rutgers. See, I'm very particular about Rutgers versus Rutgers. I mean, so you just got to play that. And that proved it right there. Rucker Park.
No, it did.
Yes, it did.
It was so off.
You guys
on
need to
that.
clean the wax out of your ears. That's all I can say.
Well, speaking of bright hat, at number 5, Jimmy B's had a bright broadcasting career, but the hat he chose to wear at work one day may have been a little brighter. And Roc and Manuch were not a fan of number 5, Jimmy B's bright hats.
But the difference between Crespin, he would never.
Hey, Jackson, I got you down.
Even if I paid him, wear a hat like that.
This one's a little long. You want me to cut it a little short?
Yeah.
You should wear it.
All right, I'll cut it when it feels right.
You would be dead wearing that hat.
Want to know the best part?
Can we get that on the video?
You guys are hot.
I wore that in the video.
I wear this hat with orange shorts and a white shirt. Oh my gosh, the color guy! I just got a little. Oh, you what?
Just threw up in my mouth.
It's like a creamsicle kind of a look. Your vibe.
No, so he's wearing this like wannabe 20-year-old Hawaiian hat.
It's 25, Doc.
No,
Right.
no. This is
Add
no.
90
It's-
years.
See, I will say, remember when you were a young boy, a young man, and you used to laugh at what your dad was wearing.
Is that what you're gonna do to me right now?
And then you get a little older, and like now, next week my dad turns 79 or 80, one of the two.
Yeah.
And he wears the sandals with the socks stuff, which. This is the same category. It's the same category. That does drive me nuts.
Oh,
Like,
Jimmy
come on, Dad,
and his colorful stuff.
The orange creamsicle comment had me dead. Imagine seeing him walk in with his cart.
This card,
push
the
cart.
orange and the white. That's creamsicle. The lady going, "Oh, I see you wear what you eat." There, right there, buddy.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, number 4, here we go to the Manuch train here. Manuch is a man of many talents. But this is
Name
probably
one.
the first time. He's good at what he does. He's a good radio personality, obviously. But this is the first time. This is the first time that Roc found out that Manuch can play the guitar. Here's number
People
4.
got either hoodwinked with playing a guitar or they totally scammed playing a guitar. And I think it's the second one.
I think it's the scale.
I think it's Cutter.
Totally Cutter. What did I say? Guitar?
Yeah,
Cutter?
it's Cutter.
Yeah,
Cutter.
you got a guitar?
Yeah, guitar.
Can you play the guitar?
I did. I do play a guitar.
No, shut up.
I can play Louis.
Shut
Louis.
the front door, Manuch.
G, D, C, F.
You can play Jackson. What's that video game where you play the guitar?
The air guitar.
Air
Oh,
guitar.
guitar. Yeah.
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero.
Yeah. Well, I can play a little guitar. Absolutely.
Whatever.
You make me feel so
You
very
can-
happy by Van Morris. I can play that. By the way,
That's
just
a
so you
bull.
guys, I should have
That's-
copied this. I got people send
3
me
minutes.
needs of autographs once in a while. So a guy sends me my bio from the Buffalo Bills my second year, and I sign up for him. And he says, "What does Dan like to do in his off time? Play guitar." So I should have put that. It's in my bio.
Okay.
from Buffalo Bills.
In 1970.
It was 79.
Not in 2022. And
Yeah.
that we talk
I
about
used to-
you playing the guitar.
I used to
You
strum
made
once
it-
in a while.
Oh, I used to play the drums when I was 12. Doesn't mean that I play the drums now.
Jeff
You made it
Dixon-
seem like you're like, Friday night, Lori and I get some wine and I play her song.
She's so lucky I don't have a guitar around. I'd be in the back patio. Hey, let me play
That
a
was
song.
so full of it on that one.
Well, speaking of Rory, your marriage has been, it's been going well, Manuch.
Sure, great because he plays guitar every Friday night.
Exactly. Well, Manuch is an interesting character. Obviously, one of the kind of individual that needs his own shower and his own bathroom,
unbelievable.
separate from his wife.
18 years I've been doing a show for, I didn't know you played a guitar. I didn't know you live with your wife.
And here's number 3.
That one wall in the shower. It's like they're putting him up there on purpose, right? I mean, why are they doing that?
I don't,
that hair.
I don't worry about it. We got 2 separate showers. Lori's
Nope.
got hers. I got mine.
What?
Yeah, I got my own bathroom and area on one side of the house. She's got the master bathroom, the shower. She's got that whole nine. Because
You're married?
Oh yeah,
You sleep in the same bed?
Oh yeah, we do. But I got my own bathroom to myself. I got my own shower. I got the whole nine.
All right,
Got the master.
that's another segment.
Yeah, really.
Another day. The only reason why you shouldn't be using the same bathroom or they're being in the same bedroom as your wife if you got a CPAC.
No, I don't have
store.
I don't have that.
I got buddies that don't, and I understand that. And I mean, I feel bad for them. You don't have to sleep with your wife.
Yeah.
I mean, like, dude, what do you? I mean,
no CPAP for me. I do. I just put a mouth guard in my mouth, and basically, I got sleep apnea. I just have mouth guards. I can wear mouth guard, and that no CPAP. But yeah, I got my whole area. She's got her whole area, and she uses all of it. So I'm glad I got my whole area.
I think that's so strange about all this. You have all this separate stuff, but there's one thing in your house that she owns, and that is the remote. She totally owns the remote. Well, you watch some of the craziest stuff.
And some of the times I do that because we're married.
Happy wife, happy life.
happy life. And you got to give and take
you got the remote.
There you go.
No,
briefly, we won't play number 2, but number 2 was when Manuch eats pizza that he warms up with a fork and a knife that makes you irritated.
Too hot.
Yeah. But number 1 we have to play is when Roc rants at Jimmy B. I love when you guys rant, but when you rant at Jimmy B, it's 10 times better. Here's number 1.
Tom Cagnotti. The Indians signed him to a AAA contract. He was 9-3 in Vancouver in the PCL, and he was throwing that knuckler less than a year. He ends up leading the American League in complete games, 17 the next season. Ran into him last Friday.
Yeah.
At the how you know yeah.
No, I'm just saying. Can't
Why do you always say that? Yeah.
Because
I said I ran into him at Land's Friday, and you said yeah.
Yeah.
You there?
No, I wasn't there, but I've been advanced.
Jimmy, get used to it.
I know.
I don't understand why you guys both do that. I'm finished. Yeah, like meaning like you're there.
No, because I'm glad you ran into Tom.
Jimmy's just acknowledging what you said.
Yeah. You get older, and say yeah. Okay, I remember my grandpa.
And I even called a couple of Candiotti's games.
So I ran into him.
Yeah.
Really good. At Vance, getting some clubs redone.
Yeah.
Okay. Kevin Rowe will join us next. We need a contestant, 602-260-9191. It's the over-under contest, the voice of the Packers, the voice of the 49ers. Greg Papa will join us in about 20 minutes to Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B out here at Wright Toyota.
Nice job, Jax.
Appreciate it.
Jacko. and I'm going to just play it off my phone right now. So let me just see if you can hear this. As in Rock, in fantasy, that's right. As Get a Piece of the Rock defeated Home Wreckers for the 2022 Fantasy Championship of this year.
What the hell happened, Kevin?
Listen, Manuch, here's the whole deal here. Listen to this. First of all, there's got to be a biggest asterisk on that one. I mean, come on, let us play the game. My T. Higgins had yardage. He was going in the right direction, and then some little thing happened. What's going on?
Okay, you had Higgins, and I had Jamar Chase. So going
Jamar Chase had 0 points.
Okay, it was the first quarter, I was in. I won 88.6 to your 75.3. So either way, I was looking good no matter what because Chase would have had more receptions most likely.
Kevin, it's like the Indianapolis 500, who's ever in the lead, and it get the rain hit. It got postponed like an Indy. In this situation, Hamlin had the situation, unfortunate, and so it's over. So
go ahead.
First of all, I'm happy for Hamlin. He's speaking. Everything's looking up. So God bless. That's awesome. But come on, man. I need my T. Higgins. They got to redo the game. T. Higgins needs to get in. He had 30 points the week before.
Yeah, well, not this week.
Let it go, Counselor.
Yeah,
let it go.
Isn't it great? Isn't it great that
Jefferson this week?
But isn't it great that my name of my team is Get a Piece of the Rock, and you are Home Wreckers, and it didn't fly, it didn't work, Kev. I mean, it's kind of.
I beat you 4 times this year.
I know you were. That's so funny. It's true. He was 12-2 regular season. I was 9-5. I had a terrible year. But playoffs is when it counts, man. Right? I mean, that's when it counts.
I'll be honest. You winning the first playoff game was huge because that guy was scoring. He had the most points in the entire league. He only lost once, I believe.
That was Jax. That was Jackson. He's here. Yeah, Jackson was. He's. I got to tell you because. He's 23, 24 years old. It's a big screen TV. I don't need one. You don't need one. He wants one. He needs one. So I kind of felt bad, but unfortunately, rules are rule, and I'm not gonna use the TV. We're gonna carry it over for March Madness, so we'll use it for that. So
I would have sold it to him for a slight markup.
I appreciate that, Kevin.
All right, let's get to it. It's our over/under contest. We got Jamie in Phoenix competing against Kevin today. All right, first one, Kev. There will be over/under 750 passing yards in the Georgia TCU championship game. Over or under 750 passing yards?
Yeah, this has got to be a Manuch special because it's not going to be over 750. So I'm going with the under 750. Look, it's first of all, great matchup. TCU, Cinderella team, Max Duggan. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. But I don't see 750 passing yards. There will be some rushing going in somewhere in this game, I believe.
There's some the air raid offense at TCU, and then Stetson Bennett threw for well over 350 in that game against Ohio State. I warned you, Counselor, before it started. All right. So Jamie's going under. Jamie's going under as well. So you're both under.
Yeah, I would, and I am too.
Okay, so if it's a tough defensive, offensive struggle, there'll be over/under 5 field goals total in the TCU Georgia game. Over/under 5 field goals total in the TCU Georgia game.
Yeah, so this is interesting. The 5 field goals. I think first of all, there's going to be a lot of going for it. I don't know if I'm going to see a lot of field goals. That's what I struggle with. I know high scoring games last week, but I just kind of struggling with there's going to be more than 5 field goals total between the two teams. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game though. So you know what? I'll just go with the over. He's probably going to go under, but I'll go with the over.
Would Jamie have their
he would do it as well.
Okay. Well, if it's a tight game, points at the premium counselor. I'm just saying. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Let's go to the 49ers Cards game. Over/under 3 sacks on quarterback David Blau for the 49ers. 3 sacks for the 49ers. Jamie's going with the under.
Who's the quarterback?
David Blau. Yeah, he's unbelievable.
He's played with 25 different teams.
I had to do some research. He's from Creekview High School, Rock. I don't know if you knew that. Came out of Purdue back in 2014 to 2018, and he's been on the practice squads of quite a few teams.
Right.
So, yes, that guy. There's going to be more than 3 sacks.
Okay, so you're going
over.
Under. All right, so we'll come down. All right, so that's where they're different.
And last but not least, the winner and score of the Georgia TCU national title game. Winner and score.
Yeah, this is playing back and forth because part of me is I have a lot of friends. Actually, I have neighbors who have their kids go to TCU and Cinderella and all Sonny Dykes has done. It's just been fantastic. But then I kind of come back down to reality a little bit and say, Georgia, but they had a close game. They eked one out. I'm going to go with this, and I'm going to stick with facts. I'm going with Georgia, and my score is going to be, let's do 38-30.
Oh, Georgia. Close one there. 38-30. Okay.
All right.
Jamie got?
He's got 34-31 Georgia. 34-31 Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the spread is a lot.
The 12.5?
Yeah, some
12.5,
13.
right?
Yeah,
12.5.
So, but you just don't know, right? You just don't know.
So Counselor, you being a guy.
Over was interesting at 62.5.
Yeah,
you're right. With that over.
Yeah.
Going over.
But I think this game should have an asterisk by it because Kansas State beat TCU in the Big 12 championship game. So why wouldn't K-State be in the national championship game? Yeah, K-State. I mean, shouldn't there be an asterisk if TCU wins this game that it should actually be K-State in this game, even though they got thumped by Bama? I'm in silent protest there, Counselor.
Yeah, they got stung by Bama, right? You're right about that. But here's the thing. The only asterisk that should be in the game is back on that fantasy game that we were talking about when we first started this conversation.
Come on.
There's something fishy going on. I don't even know if Rock deserved to even be in the playoffs. Something fishy is going on, and then he's the league commissioner.
No, I'm not. No. Jax, who had the best regular season, he was our commissioner. I do that on purpose. I always have someone else do it. I provide the prize. I really want to win my own prize.
You're on the side.
Come
You're
on.
probably on the side playing it fair, giving it a couple bucks. If you do a little bonus,
No.
play it fair. Get me in there.
All right, no. Really, I wanted to win my own TV. I mean, I've just been sitting in my garage with dust. I was like, I want somebody else to win it.
I'll take it. It's okay. I'll take it.
Actually, Rock, I'm sitting there thinking there's a pretty great event coming up in April. We may want to use that TV for something. Maybe you want to donate it to actually go to a good cause. And I don't know if Jax is a good cause.
That's a good point. That's a good. I can do that.
Jax, he just threw you under the bus, being about a cause or not a buzz. But that's okay.
I can't argue with charity.
Yeah.
So speaking of Lerner and Rowe gives back, here we are. We're in January now. We're 4 months away from the 10-year celebration, and that'll be the 10-year anniversary of the golf tournament, which we can't wait. And $1 million is our goal, and I'm fortunate enough to be on Kevin's board on this, so I'm a little biased because we're going to hit this number, and I'm excited about it. But aside from the golf tournament, what are some goals for this year for Lerner and Rowe and Lerner and Rowe gives back?
Also, I think I mentioned last year because we're kind of tidying up for the end of the year stuff, or not sure when we actually were on air, that Lerner and Rowe donated $1.7 million back in the community to serve. So that's a big number. We're truly excited about that. But of course, Rock, we want to do more.
Yeah.
And every year we want to do more. So we don't have, our goal isn't $2 million, but our goal is to do more. And putting $1 million on this tournament to raise will put us in the right direction, of course, because I know that people are behind us in the community and want us to do more as much as we can. And so the help and support we're getting from the communities has been great. I know this golf event, being the 10 years, is going to be off the hook. I will say this, because we're doing a little bit things different, and I know you're aware about this, Rock, but after the event, we're actually booked a comedian, big name comedian to come to the event and have fun with our inebriated golfers, and those who have had a little fun. So we're truly excited. We're blessed that we're able to even do this stuff. But that's what we're looking for next year, is to try and get more and more involved, to help people look at. That's what we do in our professional lives, but it's also things we want to take and carry outside of that. There's a lot of need all over, and we want to continue helping. So we're excited about that. Learn and Row gives back. Learn and Row, that's what we're going to do for 2023. And Rock, we're blessed to have you on board, man. I've said this. I know we kid around a lot. But having your knowledge and your expertise and having you as part of the board has been nothing but fantastic for us. And we're excited to see what we can do. We still have a lot more planning. Obviously, we're in the big stages right now to get this thing finished and put on the best event we possibly can and hopefully raise $1 million. If we don't, hey, we tried, but we're going to do everything we can and try and get as many people as we can to come and have fun and get behind us and support us to help others.
He sounds so nice now, like in our board meeting. But on our board meeting, like next week, he'll be like, "Oh, we're hitting $1 million, and I want you guys to get in." I mean, he's going to be whip. He's going to get the whip out. He's going to be like, "Now he's being really nice." Like, "Oh, if we hit $1 million, okay, whatever." But that his tone is going to change on Thursday in our meeting.
I'm a competitive person. We set goals. I need to beat them.
I love it. I love you, buddy. It's great. Hey, I'll see you next week, man. Looking forward to it. And as always, man, thanks for being a great partner of ours too. And it was great seeing you, by the way, for lunch on Wednesday. I really appreciate it. Good hanging out with you.
Always the little jab.
Happy New Year,
Happy
Counselor.
New Year. That's Kevin Rowe. LearnRowGivesBack.com. Check it out. As again, I mean, millions of dollars.
That's great.
Raised.
That is awesome.
So we provided some lunch for him on Wednesday, so it was nice to be out there to see everybody. But he was too busy for me. So
I see.
I had to hang out with his staff, and the staff was great, grateful, and he's got like 10 offices.
He's kind of a busy dude, Rock.
I know. Hey, speaking of busy, we're going to catch up with the play-by-play voice of the San Francisco 49ers. Greg Papa's next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Fox Sports 9.
going deep. He's got a man. Ayuk in. Touchdown.
You guys are hot.
Is that Brock Purdy, Manuch?
That's Brock Purdy making it happen.
Are you tired of talking about Brock Purdy?
Hell no, because he's pretty damn good.
How many times have you been on KBR in San Francisco?
A few times.
I mean, seriously, Greg Papa joining us, play-by-play voice and part of the KBR family. I mean, you understand, I've 18 years him and I have been doing this. And, I'm like, hey, Manuch, what are you doing? Oh, I got to go on KBR. I'm like, oh, what do you know? San Francisco Chronicle. Every day it's something else. I mean, it's great. It's great.
Greg, thank you so much for having me, man. I really appreciate the ride because you guys are having a ride like no other there in San Fran.
Yeah.
No, Manuch is big in Western New York, and I talked to Bears go out to Buffalo. He's big in Arizona. But Dan Manucci now in the Bay Area is a Brock star.
That's funny. Greg, he's not doing any TV hits, radio hits in other markets in Phoenix. He's only doing them in the Bay Area. It's kind of funny. So
I know.
Yeah.
So what do you guys like best? We got I just want to rock and roll all night. And 30 every day. You like that one? We got so many. We got so many over this guy now.
It's awesome.
We gotta go. We gotta go kiss. Kiss was big when Manuch was quarterbacking.
I gotta tell you, Greg. The storylines. If this can come to an end here in Phoenix, with the 49ers here, and would be such an amazing story. A storybook type story with, at least for this community in Phoenix, and having a guy come out of
Perry High
School and go this far and being the last pick and everything. It's unbelievable. And you guys are what, a 9-game winning streak right now, which is the longest in the league. And there's no stopping you, is there, right now? You guys are clicking on all cylinders.
And he's been a part of about half of it. Jimmy won the first 4, but then got hurt in the 5th game against Miami. And it was 7-3 when Brock came in, and they got to 33 points. And they're scoring about 30 just about every game. The one exception was the Seattle game when he was playing with those cracked ribs on a short week. But he made the big plays to win the game. So, I had Dan on my show in August. We could see it in training camp. He was highly accurate, extremely decisive with the ball, a real strong leader, his game management, everything. But you didn't know until you threw him into a game, and he literally got thrown into that game against Miami, and he let him right down the field the first time they had the ball. And they just checked the 49er possessions and how much they are scoring. They're not punting much. Robbie Gold's missed a couple of field goals. They're marking. If we were bowling like we were in Buffalo, Manuch, it's either a strike or a spare.
Yeah.
Just about every frame. It's a touchdown or it's a field goal. And he's just, they're obviously getting Christian McCaffrey has been a big part of it. Christian got there a few games before Brock took over at quarterback. But in this game against Arizona, they're going to get Elijah Mitchell back. They're going to get Deebo Samuel back. And this guy right now just thinks of himself as a point guard. He's just getting the ball out on time, the way he processes information. I read a great story today about his intelligence. Obviously, Dan raised him right. His mom and dad. And, a big part of the story is, his dad was a minor league baseball pitcher in the Giants organization, the San Francisco Giants. So he played with a lot of my friends, Sean Estes and Rich Aurelia, here in the Bay, in the Giants organization. So the whole Bay Area. Everybody loved Jimmy here, and the Trey Lance thing was. We were calling this Trey area for a long time, and now, right now, you can't get a number 13 jersey in the 49er team store. They are selling off the racks.
Such a great story. And you talk about his family, and I was the PR guy for the Phoenix Firebirds. You remember them, the AAA team here in Phoenix. So I go way back with those guys too. It's just such a great storyline that we're wishing, that he has the success. I think a lot of fans out here are obviously Cardinal fans, but if the 49ers would get there and you got a local kid leading the way, it can't get any better than that.
And to what Rock said earlier, the kid's from here to win it all here.
Yeah.
I mean, how apropos is that, Greg?
Yeah, the Super Bowl, February the 12th. Can you imagine if he comes back there to the state of Arizona? And he grew up a Cardinals fan. He spoke beautifully about the franchise. He's went to a lot of games there. He's a Cardinal fan, and to be able to do all this. Now, all that being said, he's got to go play in the playoffs. And, every box he is checked. So, whether it's start the game, come in off the bench, or play on a short week with an injury. And last week he had to get into a shootout. Really, he's had the lead ever since he's been the 49er quarterback. He came into that game against Miami down 7-3, but he let them right down the field, and they never fell behind. This game in Las Vegas last New Year's Day on Sunday, they were down 24-14 early in the third quarter, and he just unflappably let them down the field. I know, Manuch, you were impressed with the last drive.
Yes.
Brandon Ayuk feeding the ball to Ayuk, and then Robbie Gould missed the field goal. But this guy's got it all. I mean, and everybody's waiting for the clock to strike midnight on Cinderella.
Yeah.
They've seen now 4+ game tapes. We've seen Todd Bowles blitz them. We've seen Pete Carroll not blitz them. Has he shown a weakness, Dan, where all of a sudden the league is going to expose this guy? I just don't see that.
No, they really won't. And that, you talk about the last trade. We've always trained to just always expect the blitz, always expect that challenge coming, just always be ready for it. And Brock has always been ready. He's been one of those guys that's just pretty much. But the one thing, Greg, we got about a minute here that I've noticed, maybe it's just me, is that there seems to be more juice to Kittle and CMC and Ayuk to the offense. Jimmy did a good job, but it just seems like there's more. Kittle, especially, has really seemed to blossom with Brock in there.
He's got 5 touchdowns the last 3 games.
Yes.
So two against Seattle. He had 2 against Washington, and the play he made on a 3-man blitz when a 3-man pressure, they dropped 8 against the Raiders. He spun out to his left. He likes the tight end. He was talking about having a very dependable tight end at Iowa State. And I also think a lot of that is Kyle Shanahan's playing He's playing, master chess. He's looking for matchups. And a healthy George Kittle against anybody they got out there. They're not going to put a corner on him. But any safety or linebacker in football or against zone coverage, they can't cover him. And George has had a lot of injuries in his career. This year he began I missed the first 2 games with a groin injury from training camp. When George Kittle is right, he is a difference maker with yards after catch. Not a great route runner, but you want the ball in his hands. And because of that, Kyle finds the matchup. And now you got Deebo Samuel back, Elijah Mitchell back, on top of Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and Brandon Ayuk. You guys tell me. Anybody in the NFC going to beat this team?
I think the only team that's the former foe might be the Philadelphia Eagles. Rock's Philadelphia Eagles.
That's where I'm from.
When they're all healthy. So I think that could be the NFC Championship right there for that winner to come out here. But hey, Greg, also just real quick, I know you've been in contact with the whole Buffalo area. Back home, the folks back in Orchard Park and Cheektowaga, they got to feel pretty good that DeMar Hamlin was speaking and they had the FaceTime with the team this morning.
Oh, my God. I mean, I couldn't believe it. With the whole week, the emotions of everything, we thought we lost that young man on Monday night. And now, he's such a great teammate. The first thing he wrote, did we win? Really? Are you serious? The guy's been through hell and back, and he's a football player. And now he's got the, breathing tube out, and he's talking, and they're zooming with him. What I want to see on Sunday, Dan, is that he zooms to the country from the hospital room in Cincinnati. Can you imagine putting him up and maybe he's an honorary captain? He calls heads or tails or something, or gives some kind of a pep talk to the league. I mean, that would be powerful. But what a great story! What a great ending! And you know what my ultimate is? We'll play the Eagles. Yeah, my brother was a sportscaster in Philadelphia for a long time.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind.
Yep.
49ers Eagles NFC title game. But you know what I want? 49ers Bills Super Bowl in Arizona. That's what I want.
That's the dream come true. It could happen, especially when you got a guy named Brock Purdy leading the charge there, Greg.
Oh, man. Hey.
That Josh Allen guy's pretty good.
He's not bad either. Not bad.
He's not bad.
Hey, and by the way, I was a big fan of your brothers. Being a Philly guy, I was at Penn. I worked there. I was in I grew up, and what an amazing guy. So amazing.
Yeah.
So
thank you for saying that.
Hey,
thank you for saying that.
You're one of the best in the business, man. Thanks for making some time for us, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it.
Guys. And thank Dan Manucci and the state of Arizona for giving us a Bronx Star quarterback.
That's the voice of the 49ers, and we got tons of 49er fans like our program director. That's Greg Papa. Appreciate that. And you can follow him on Twitter at Greg_Papa, and we appreciate his time. We'll continue on. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
One call, that's all. Call of the day. If you're looking for a full-service law firm, just make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
I'm being honest, right? I don't want to be one of these. Right? I don't want toes on television. Hey. Oh, I mean jackasses. I meant. I'm sorry. I apologize. What the heck is going on? I meant jackasses. I apologize. You guys act like they know everything. I got that's the first, Jack. That's the first time I've ever cursed. I apologize. Yeah. It is. I apologize. Chuck, I'll tell you what. That's right. Pay your fine to the FCC. I do. I apologize.
There's no way that is the first time that Charles Barkley has. on the radio. That was hilarious yesterday once again, and Shaq just lost it. Absolutely lost it. One of the best shows on television.
It's great.
NBA on TNT. So that is our Learner Row one call. That's all. Speaking of the tube, let's get to what's on tap.
What's on tap? Powered by 72 Soul. A look at the top sports action tonight on TV. Get our price, a higher price at 72soul.com.
All right, the Yotes are going to try to rebound after their loss to Philadelphia yesterday, 6-2, where they gave up 5 goals in the second period. So they got a back-to-back. They're in Chicago to play the Blackhawks, which aren't very good this year, or the Yotes. Game time is at 6:30. That'll be on Bally Sports Arizona Extra. And then the Suns will host the Heat, another team that's struggling coming off the road as they're 1-5 on that last road trip. I should say. They've dropped 7 of their last 8. They will be on ESPN and Bally Sports at 8 o'clock. So a late one. This should benefit the Suns, you would think. But then again, you just don't know who's going to be out there, who's going to be hot, who's going to have some success. Are they going to play some defense? We just don't know.
Give the damn ball to DA. Give it to him. Play a little D. Get some rebound. He had 15 rebounds last game. Play some defense. Feed him the ball. And you're going to have to – guys got to make shots in that fourth quarter. You're going to have to close. And Bridges has got to step it up. And, CP3, he'll be his standard quota, probably 15 and 10 assists. But, this is one of those scenarios when you lose, as you mentioned, 7 out of the last 8, and then you're lost basically 13 out of the last 18. Got to be a little bit of a turning point for this team, that's for sure.
So there you have it, 72 sold, one of our great partners. That is what's on tap, and you hear it every day here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. And everyone knows the home sales market is getting tougher. The number of sales are down, the prices are down, but 72 Sold is still getting top dollar for the customers. You're making a mistake if you go the traditional route. 72 Sold has a solution for today's home seller market. Go to 72sold.com. Get your price, a higher price, at 72sold.com. The college football playoff on Monday. Georgia TCU from SoFi in Los Angeles. Tickets, the least expensive ticket right now is going just to get in is around $400. The average seat price is about $1,400. They are starting to fall. Ticket prices are falling. And unsurprisingly, the most tickets have been purchased from Texas, about 37%. California was 19%. Georgia 7%. And then Michigan and Arizona take up around 3% of the sales so far. So the prices are not too bad. They're saying they've jumped up around 15% from last year. But should be a good game. I hope it's closer than the spread.
Yeah, and with both those teams, traveling from afar, that's the key there. We just got done talking about the Cardinals and the 49ers with Greg Papa, the play-by-play voice. Our State 48 Roofing, it's your call. Question of the day: who must have a big game for the Cardinals on offense in order for them to upset
Cliff Kingsbury,
the 49ers?
Cliff Kingsbury.
Your choices were David Blau, the quarterback, Hollywood Downtown Brown,
if he plays,
James Conner, and or Trey McBride. So go to at Roc and Manuch to vote on Twitter. Right now, David Blau, 53 1/3%.
You think? I mean, he's the only crazy quarterback.
Well, and the other one would be Hollywood Brown and James Conner, 20, and Trey McBride, 6.7%.
I said Hollywood.
I said James Conner. I just see if they're going to have anything like they did last year at San Francisco. He had like over 100 and some yards rushing, and they won that game. But he's going to have to, hey, you can rest in the offseason. He's got to tote the ball 20 to 25 times.
Tomorrow at 9 o'clock, Backspin the Golf Show is back on the air. This is year number 30.
Wow.
30 years. I thought our 18 was long.
Yeah.
30 years tomorrow, Backspin with Rick Levy, Bill Huffman, Mike Bauer. And then it's Take the Points with Jacko and Bauer from Casino, Arizona, the CAZ Sports Bar. And then big announcement on Monday with the show. I mean, one of our biggest announcements we've ever made. It's going to be Monday, so tune in from 1 to 4 for the CAZ Sports Bar, getting you ready for the championship. Have a good week, Manuch. Good job, buddy. Way to hold up the fort.
Absolutely.
Jacko slacked out on his rewind.
Yeah, big slacker. Have a good weekend, everybody. Talk to you Monday.